So I have to actively warn them, like, hey, it's starting. Don't be racist, etc.
Welcome to the war in Vietnam. Please don't be racist.
Yeah, like
Yep.
we've come up with a code. So if somebody wanted to say the R slur, they say rubbish instead.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, it's because Twitch doesn't allow it. I think it's
I
silly,
can't
but yeah,
really, I can't really go crazy myself because I've got family members sleeping in the other fucking room. So,
right.
uh,
Understand. I mean, I'm just home alone, but that's because my wife's at work.
I
Ugh.
can install Team Fortress 2, but it's gonna make it impossible for me to talk to you because I don't know why, but Steam throttles the internet whenever it installs anything.
You gotta set a throttle on Steam in the settings. I don't remember exactly how to
Uh,
do that, but it's in the Steam settings, and you can throttle it to only so fast, so that it won't
down,
kill everything else.
download, throttle downloads while streaming. Is that the one you're talking about?
I no, because I think it's hang on, let me look here. Downloads, download region, yada yada yada. Here it is. Download restrictions, and then you put
Download.
limit bandwidth to, and then you can. I think it's low, high, medium.
Uh, limit bandwidth to enter a new number value is what it's giving me.
Yeah, see, that's kind of where the limit of my intelligence goes because I don't know about how much your bandwidth can handle, how much bandwidth you even have, how much you would need to also talk on Discord.
Not as much as the average fucking American or British internet connection would have. I'll tell you that much.
Oh dear, I can
Maybe
tell you.
50 megabytes a second.
Oh, that's how much I have
All right.
because British internet is not fast. It's
I
stable,
feel that.
but it's slow as hell.
Oh yeah. I don't know, fucking American internet's like light speed. Just like
Oh yeah, oh that's the main thing I fucking missed when I came to the
yeah,
UK.
it's not any different here and down under. Um,
Ugh.
uh,
It's
50
just because
kilobytes.
it's just because America put an absolute buttload of money into fiber optics, which is awesome.
Yeah, our government
Fiber
tried to and then
optics
failed.
rock.
Our government tried to and failed miserably. We went from
Mm.
fucking 3 megabytes a second to 50 megabytes a second instead of the full fucking whack that we were promised. Because the government felt like half-assing it instead of like doing fiber to the house.
To be fair, 3 to 50, huge increase.
It is, yeah, but it wasn't like
It's
nobody
not.
was happy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, fiber is like depending on the fiber you get, can be anywhere from 100 to 1,000. So
Yeah.
obviously, fiber is better.
Um. So what value is yours set at if yours is 50 megabits?
Oh, my bandwidth limit?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't limit my bandwidth.
Oh, it's just so I can stream whilst download this while talking to you.
I'm not sure exactly what you'd need to set it to because for a couple reasons, but you know.
Uh,
Additional time has been
all I can fucking
awarded.
do is just experiment.
Yeah. I mean, I would probably set it to maybe half, maybe a little more than half of your max.
So about 30.
Yeah, 20, 25, 30, something like that, and you'd have plenty to talk. It wouldn't work if you were also trying to play TF2, but the whole point is that you're trying to download it. So,
What the hell? Who stopped pushing the car?
Yeah, that's still throttling it.
yeah.
What it does, because what it does is it makes you fucking lag out.
Yeah.
Medic, medic, medic.
Because I can hear you fine. If it's downloading.
Yeah, I
right
know
now.
you can hear me, but I can't hear you when it.
Ah.
It's like it's the moment I hit the play button. It's like, I'm sorry, I don't know what the hell is going on.
Hmm.
Thanks, Pally.
All right, you there?
I'm still here.
Okay,
I
it
don't know if you
seems
can hear
3
me well at all.
megabytes. I can hear you fine. It seems 3 megabytes is the limit. The bad news is it's an 8-hour download.
Oh, jeez. I mean, granted, Steam always lies about how long the download's gonna be, but it probably will be a slow one.
Yeah.
Well, if you like, you can just set it to download when we're not talking, and that way we can just play it next time I play TF2. Because a lot of the people on the server like to play TF2. Nobody's joining today, apparently, but...
Well, my calendar doesn't go back to 2007, so, but yeah, I'd have to learn how to play it.
I mean, the good news is it has a pretty big curve, huge skill ceiling.
Well, I've got 200 hours of Dark Souls, and I've nearly gotten every single new game on that, so I think I'll be alright.
Oh, yeah.
What else can I do?
To be fair, you'd probably enjoy TF2. I think about everybody enjoys TF2 at least a little bit.
I probably would, I just never installed it or played it, probably because I thought it cost money.
Oh no, it's free. Has been
I like
since
Squad.
20 something.
I like Squad, Squad's fun.
I've never actually played Squad.
It's really fun. It requires communication, so you have to actually have a mic for it. It's great. You just hear people saying, it's squad lead, you just hear people talking over the radio while you're trying to fight a war. It's fucking awesome. And it's all people talking to each other.
Reminds me of SWAT.
Probably is sort of similar to that.
Granted, it's been a long time since I played the SWAT games, but that one required a whole lot of discussion.
I wish I was 13 again. I'd go back and play GTA with my mates.
Oh, I don't wish I was 13 again.
I'm about the same age as you, by the way. You're a year older than me. I was born in 2000.
I was born in 1999. Late 1999, but still 1999.
Yes, I am aware because I watched the stream.
Oh. Did I say it in the stream?
With, yeah, you and the incel. Yeah, you mentioned it because he said what he said was...
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're not
Right.
Gen Z. And you said I was born in 1999.
Yeah,
And I'm
alright.
like, man, it's nearly the same age as me.
I'm remembering now. It's been a while since I did that video. You can kind of tell because the webcam's in a different area, the quality's a little different. I think that at the time my monitor was a widescreen, so it didn't fit the whole thing. All that stuff.
It was fairly entertaining, I'll give you that.
Yeah, he's gone now. Spent the whole time
Rip
yelling
incel.
at him, essentially. when
Wait,
you
you
went,
yelled at him? Or...
yeah, the incel. Because
I mean,
he
you
wouldn't listen
definitely-
otherwise.
Yeah. I mean, you definitely, like,
The freaking
You
car
know.
stopped.
you made some decent points. Like I said, I don't know why the conversation didn't end at I have a wife, to be honest with you.
His general logic is that I was a 1 in a million. I was a an anomaly to nature, essentially. Me existing was incorrect. I was not supposed to be
because-
married.
My question is, like, what kind of woman is he going for? Is he going for a super attractive woman, or
Yes.
is he going for just a woman?
Blatantly, like he as he said it to me, because he full on told me what he wanted. He said an 8 or higher, and she has to be a virgin.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. I personally, I don't know. I kind of thought he could be. I don't want to use the word saved. That sounds arrogant. But I thought he could be like turned back around until he was like, yeah, no, the chick I date, she needs to be pure. And I was like, all right, that's you've gone too far.
I mean,
that's a little weird.
I mean, I don't know, like I get where he's coming from in the sense that it would be nice, but in this day and age, it's so fucking unlikely that you're ever going to encounter a virgin. I mean, let's be real.
I mean, I can understand wanting.
It is something we all sort of want to experience. Like, you know, I fear that like I'm going to grow old and never get the chance to take a woman's, you know, virginity. But it's like,
Sure.
you know, it's just a reality. I think of, you know, the way people are these days.
I mean, I can understand, like, to an extent where he's coming from. It's understandable to want a girlfriend or a wife or a significant other is the word I was looking for. A significant other with similar sexual experience. So if you've never had sex, yeah, it makes sense to want someone who's also never had sex. But that shouldn't be like a hard and fast, I will not ever date someone unless they haven't had sex. Like, this just...
Well, that's why he's probably having a fucking rough time trying to find somebody. I mean, like just thinking statistically alone, how many fucking people, you know, like how many women out there are, you know, in their... How old is he?
I'm trying to think. I think he was 19?
19.
I can't
Maybe.
really remember. He was either older than me or he was younger than me. But the worst part, he was also a hypocrite though, because he had talked not a week ago. It's in one of the streams where I played the Talos Principle, I think, where I was talking to him back and forth nearly the whole time, and he talked about, oh, I'm gonna go purchase a prostitute. Oh, I need to get rid of the, you know.
All right. I mean, I was a bit of an incel the past few months, but I wasn't that much of an incel.
Right.
Jesus Christ.
Well, it's just hypocritical to be like, I'm only gonna date a virgin, but I'm also gonna pay someone to have sex. You know what I mean?
I mean, look, like that's an ideal, you know, that's like an ideal sort of a thing. If like you want to date a virgin, like that's, you know, I guess what would you call it? Like a fantasy, you know? It's
Sure.
not what is achievable, sort of like in the real world. So it's
But
like, I guess, scale back your expectations a little bit.
Yeah. Well, it
You know
also
what I mean?
shouldn't be like your
A
number one
requirement either.
requirement either. Like you
Yeah,
should
like,
want
if
her to
you
be
like-
nice. If you're a gold digger, you want her to have money, fine. But like, if your restriction is never had sex and that's number one, it's like, okay.
Like my guitar teacher and I were talking the other day, and he said like, you know, it should be fucking, what do they call it? Like, you know, why should it matter? And this is what he said to me when I was talking about a girl having a high body count, right? I
Sure.
said I wouldn't want to date a girl with a high body count. And he said, well, wait a minute, if you love the girl for who she was, why would it matter? And funnily enough, I couldn't really answer the question. Because
Well-
he's kind of right. If, you know,
Well,
you
the
could say
assumption
like
at
the
that
past does
point-
matter.
Yeah. Like the assumption at that point though, body count is something you generally get to pretty fast. Like when you're back and forth, generally that's something you get through pretty early in the dates, in my opinion. So at that point, you don't know them enough to say, well, I love them in spite of that, or I love them, etc., etc. It's something that first date, second date, maybe even third, that you get through, you know, well, how many people have you been with? How many people have you had sex with? How many, you know.
Yeah. You know,
I mean, I knew how many people
is a
my
case-by-case
wife had been
basis.
with first date.
Yeah, and how many was that, out of curiosity? If you don't mind me asking, of course.
Oh, she was a virgin before me. I was too.
Oh, damn. Lucky you.
Yeah. Well, we met in high school. She had one boyfriend before me. But it was
Yeah, I
never
know- I
anything
know
I
this-
looked for. You know what I mean? Like, I wasn't like,
Yeah.
so how many people have you had sex with? And if you say more than one, we're breaking up.
If it's more than 0.2 people, I'm sorry. This
Yeah,
is not
I
gonna work
expect
out.
perfection, And
Yes.
touching people below the belt is sinful,
not-
I'll have you know.
If you're not built like Elastigirl, I'm sorry, this is not going to work out. But, like,
If you're not a 50-year-old mother... But you can't have had kids, by the way.
that's also a requirement.
Yeah, because Elastigirl's a mom.
I don't give a fuck, like, honestly. I hit, right? Like, damn. What was I going to say? Shit, I've completely lost my train of thought. By the way, I'm doing a bit of a solid for myself. So I'm playing a bit of Need for Speed Most Wanted 2005, and this is, funnily enough, what I was doing while I was listening to you talk to the incel. So I may as well repeat the age-old tradition.
Oh, right, I do remember you mentioning that.
Did I mention it? I may have mentioned it.
Yeah,
I don't
you
know.
did. You said you were going to go back to listening to the stream while you played the game.
Yeah, I'm playing Need for Speed.
Yeah. I've never played Need for Speeds. The only racing game I played was Cars. And Forza.
Yeah, Need for Speed is like 2005 Most Wanted is like the pinnacle. You can't really get any better than this. Because the whole premise of the game is like you start off in like a starter car that's like a BMW, and like this villain, like, he fucks with your car and takes it away from you, and the whole premise of the game is you've got to win a bunch of races and like get chased by the cops and get it back. Yeah, and so it's like, you know, it's a real sort of like fun game. It has a bunch of replay value for me, especially as I can just like race in this game and just like, you know, listen to podcasts or whatever as I'm playing.
Right. It's an easy, mindless game, essentially.
Yeah, pretty much. And once you've like mastered it, like I have, it becomes pretty mindless.
Right.
Yeah, as demonstrated by the fact I just won a sprint and I'm currently in the middle of a lap knockout whilst talking to you. I'm just trying to fucking remember my train of thought. What were you saying earlier?
When?
About the incel and what he wanted.
He wanted an 8 or higher version. He was either 19 or like 28. I genuinely can't remember his age.
Yeah, I can remember what I was saying now. So I actually know a girl like you who's the same as your wife, you know, to this day, but she was never interested in a relationship.
Sure. Which happens.
I guess it is what it is.
Right.
But yeah, so I just sort of moved on. But like, we spent over a year talking to each other, and I had no idea what the status of our relationship was, or if she actually was interested in me. She certainly acted like she was.
Right.
But yeah, when the topic came up, it was like, yeah, nah, not really. Which was kind of interesting. But yeah, anyway, so I recently, the reason why I sort of went into a bit of an incel phase is because I'd seen a lot of, like, if you ever go online, you like look up Japanese like content like about Japanese women or dating Japanese women, there's a lot of like progressives from the West who are sort of like, it's extremely wrong for a man to want to date a Japanese woman because he wants this, and that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there is a lot of pushback from the West that if you want to date a specific race, it's wrong.
Yeah.
Which I can understand if you're like fetishizing a certain race, like that's a little bad, but you know, there's a line between fetishizing and I can't think of the word, but you know what I mean.
Admiring?
Sure.
I don't know, what would be classed as fetishization in your eyes, do you think?
Well, if
what would be
the
line that would be like too far?
If it was like a sexual turn on for you that you could date an Asian woman, then it would, you know, it would be fetishizing. It would be too far.
That would be weird.
Yeah.
That is, I mean, yeah, that is kind of, you could consider that like a literal sexual fetish.
Yeah.
My only problem with like the term sort of fetish is that like it almost sort of makes it like seem like the woman is like an object. Or implying
that's
like,
the point.
Like
that's the
a strange object.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, that's the point of the use of the word fetishizing, because people who fetishize dating a different race of girl, and that's like that they fetishize it in a way that the woman is an object where her descriptor is the fact that she's a different race. and they do fetishize it, so they do think of women like that as an object, because it's not like I want to date a girl from a foreign country. Oh, she has different we'll be able to travel, she'll have different interests that girls around here don't, oh, etc., etc. Instead, it's like, well, I want to date a girl, but the girl has to have Asian or Japanese, or she has to be a black woman, or, you know.
I know for me personally, I don't know why, but I was interested in dating Japanese women, not because they're Asian,
Sure.
no real reason, but there are other reasons. Like for example, in Japan, they don't have hookup culture as such. They have what's called kokuhaku, which is love confession culture, which means that in order for you to actually start dating a woman, you need to actually confess your love to that woman,
Sure.
which is I'm sure same with you, is sort of more what do you call it, more aligned with my personal values than, let's say, dating a woman in the West, where it's probably a bit more of a hookup thing, which is probably why I was a bit more drawn to Japan instead of Western women. That's not to say I would never date a Western woman. If the opportunity arises, I'm sure I would. But yeah.
I mean, it is super often, over here at least, for it to be a hookup culture, and it's generally, in my opinion, you'll never find a girlfriend through hooking up. If you're hooking up with a woman, they don't want a long-term relationship any more than the other person hooking up does. That's just how it works. Like when I confessed to my wife, I wrote a poem. Like, that's just how I did it.
Yes, I know the age-old story with the poem where you compared her eyes to dirt and the rainbow sprouts.
Yeah, she thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah. Look, the thing that's baffling to me is how she met you and actually gave you a hug. Like, I would have thought, like, if it was me, I honestly would have thought I would have the cops called on me, to be honest with you. Like, I thought about asking you to go out today because there was a girl I was looking at and she thought, like, when I was working, there was a girl I was looking at and she thought, oh, I'm in his way or something. But I just thought she was super cute. But I didn't want to say anything because it was like, God, I'm going to get charged with sexual harassment. So it's like, I don't bother.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, generally, if you're just not weird about it, which it is hard not to be weird about it. It is hard to be like, you know, I like you, let's go out. And for it not to sound like, I've been watching you this whole time. Every day when you bend over at the counter, I'm watching.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's a bit weird.
Yeah.
It's a bit different in Japan because it's kind of strange because the way it works is you actually date the woman first, but no intimacy happens until you've officially like confessed your love to her.
Sure.
Like, so you got to confess to her on like the third or fifth date around there. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And yeah, I thought that was rather interesting. It's like, so you don't ask the woman for her phone number, and that's not the confession. So it's like the confession is like 3 dates in after you've asked her out on a date. Like, huh?
The worst part is, surprisingly enough, the Western culture part has started to infiltrate pretty much everywhere. Even in Japan, there's an entire culture of girls who do the Western way, and essentially copy it almost directly.
There is, but I think you'll find in a lot of like Japanese street interviews. In fact, I found this in my experience. A lot of Japanese girls are very wary of guys who engage in that sort of culture. So like, I find that one of the reasons why all those girls sort of rejected me when I was at that speed dating event was, you know, in my opinion, because I was so young, and I think it was a combination of the fact that I was inexperienced, but I was also somebody who may have only been interested in hooking up, which they didn't necessarily know if I was or wasn't. And that's what they were trying to avoid, because they were actually looking for marriage material, not somebody to hook up with.
Well, generally over there, a younger guy who really wants to date somebody usually does want to hook up. Because it's
especially
kind of
a Western
seen
guy,
as,
because
it's
called, the specific term is chadai. I know a bit of Japanese.
Sure.
I'm getting Japanese lessons every sort of week. And like, it's the term that girls use to describe Japanese guys, but also Western guys as well. Like, especially Western guys, because hookup culture is a lot more common here than it is, you know, over there. It's still there, obviously, and in Japan,
sure.
you know, as you were saying before. But yeah, I don't know if I think I'm done talking at that point.
Well, I mean, it's just common for younger men who are looking to date. Generally, they hooking up is what they want because they're younger. It's seen as kind of if you're younger, you should be going out to get a job, to get a lot of money, so you can support people and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Exactly.
Like that's how they see it usually.
And that's why I didn't really.
From what
blame
I
them,
understand.
because, like,
To be clear,
you know,
I've never
from
been
their
to Japan.
perspective- Well, I haven't either, but like, I had this experience, talking to these Japanese women, and they were really lovely girls. Like the thing that shocked me is like the same thing that shocked you was that it took knowing what Dragon Ball Z was to get a girl to consider marrying me, in effect, like writing my name down. And there has never been a time in my life where I thought to myself, man, this Goku guy, he's gonna get me some pussy.
It's the Dragon Ball Z thing.
It's the Dragon Ball Z way.
Think about how he got Chi-Chi and just do that.
Exactly.
I'm sure it'll
Literally
work.
the same. Yeah. Is marriage food?
Punch hard enough in the air, create a fucking wind blast, and it'll be done.
Yes. I'm of course kidding, but
Sure,
on a
yeah,
serious
I would
note,
hope.
though,
I would hope so.
it is baffling to me though that knowing what Dragon Ball Z was, like seriously, I kid you not. I remember I was talking to this one girl. Oh, you watch Dragon Ball Z? Oh my god, that was my childhood favorite. Out comes the pen, because like specifically, right? We were told ahead of time. Oh yeah, if you see someone you're interested in, write their name down, and out comes the pen.
Right.
Happened twice. And it was as soon as Dragon Ball Z was mentioned, and it was absolutely shocking to me that that's all it took.
Right.
Like, yeah, like, I honestly don't really know what I expected. I mean, I don't know if Western girls are like that. I don't know, you could probably give me your opinion on that, I think.
If you found the right ones, sure. Because there are some people who are just super into anime over here. And, well, I say over here, I'm in England now. I don't know anything about English women. Disclaimer, British women outside of my purview. Never tried to date one.
I would assume it's the same. If they're into anime, it's the same deal.
I would assume it's similar, but, like, British.
Like, I'm wondering, like, would you encounter a British or American woman, or Australian woman even, because they're all basically very similar,
Sure.
Western women, would you ever encounter a woman who would be, like, at a marriage agency and finds out that somebody happens to like an anime that they like, and like, oh yeah, well, that guy's definitely marriage material.
Well, marriage agencies aren't super common outside of...
No, apparently they're more common in Japan.
Yeah.
Which is surprising because their population is declining so fast because women are not having kids. Or people in general not having kids, I'm sorry, not women.
Yeah.
But, it's like, it's sort of surprising to me that marriage agencies would be so common because I didn't think that, like, Japanese women or men or any, would be that interested in having kids or getting married at all. Because they're more focused on their career or, like...
It's down to a lot just the culture surrounding it, because marriage agencies in Japan and China specifically, those are the two countries that I know that have them the most. They've been around for years, way before the population started to decline. Heck, China had laws in place that said you can't have more than one girl, you can't have too many boys, we'll drown the kid if it's such and such and such and such.
Yes, because they were fearing overpopulation.
Yeah, and even then they still had marriage agencies.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of...
so you're saying...
Like,
so it's like more social pressure for the women to get married,
Yeah.
is sort of what you're getting at.
well, it's not like men don't use it too. There are men who are like, yeah, you know what, I need a marriage agency, find me a woman who you think I'd like, and, that's their whole job, finding women who would want to date whoever it is that walked up to them and said, find me woman, please.
Well, the funny thing is, they were specifically after Australian men, and as you know, I'm from Australia, so that's what they were looking for.
Right.
Which I thought was interesting. And they had their own, like, points of view on Australia, which I hadn't actually heard before. Like, I've watched a bunch of street interviews from Japanese people, and you know, like when they talk about Australia, they think of like obviously, you know, kangaroos and that sort of thing. But
Right.
I found sort of the minority of people in Japan who have their own like perspective on Australia, and that is like they think we're, I don't know, they use the word nature a lot, like to describe our country, and
Australia
they
is
like our
quite
coffee.
wild
It is.
compared to
And,
Japan, which is primarily infrastructure.
Well, yeah, because Australia, our population is 25 million people, and we're almost the size of the continental US.
Yeah.
And whereas
And we're
US
what, 7 billion?
300 million people in the US.
Yeah.
And
Oh yeah, 7
really
billion is the whole
three-
world, isn't it?
yeah, that's the whole world. Yeah.
Yeah, that's my bad.
Yeah, no, the US is about 350 million, I think, which
Yeah.
is like 350 times the population of Australia. So, like,
Yeah.
imagine the continental US, but with like 1% of the people. That's Australia right there.
Frankly, good. The U.S. needs
yeah.
less people. They're so condensed in
God.
big cities, it sucks.
Well, we still have big cities here, but like the space between them is crazy. Like if I wanted to go to Melbourne, for example, from where I live, without doxing myself, it'd be like a 12-hour drive. It's just, you know, and that's the
Yeah, to
nearest
drive
city.
from one end of the UK to the other, it's a 12-hour drive. I'm talking the
that's
tippy
correct,
tip
that's-
of the north to the tippy tip of the south. That's a
That
12-hour
sounds
drive.
about right. Yeah,
And
you
that's
wouldn't need
it.
to drive
That's the
very far
whole
to get to
thing.
the next major city.
Yeah. See, back where I lived in Alabama, I lived in the northern Alabama, next to Huntsville. Obviously, you don't know where that is, but you know, driving from
I know,
there
like,
to
I know a lot of, because like as an Australian, I'm exposed to a lot of American like
Right.
sitcoms and TV shows and all
Makes
that. I
sense.
know a lot of our locations.
Oh.
Jacksonville, let's see, Jacksonville, Florida. What else? What other cities do I know?
actually, I was
Las
about to
Vegas-
mention Jacksonville.
Yeah. Las Vegas, Nevada, Los Angeles, California, Seattle, Washington, New York, obviously. And you have obviously Washington D.C.,
Sure.
Chicago, Illinois. I think Detroit, Michigan. I was going to say what state's Detroit in? Detroit, Michigan. That's right.
Well, the distance between around where I
cetera, et
lived,
cetera.
which was next to Huntsville, to about Jacksonville was more than a 10-hour drive. That was
Yeah.
state to state. I wasn't even going
Yeah.
a long distance or anything. It's just state to state,
Yeah.
and it's terrible. I hate it. Such a drive.
Yeah.
There's no trains
And-
here. Disclaimer: never been on a train.
Oh damn.
I've been on a
Yeah,
subway
we have
once,
trains.
and that sucked pretty
We
bad.
have trains here. We have trains here where I live. Like we recently just got our railway network electrified relatively recently, so that was new. We had diesel trains before that, and they were loud.
To be fair,
and-
I like loud trains compared to quiet trains. I prefer the ones that are chugging as loud as possible. I want to hear them
Well, it doesn't
two
really
states
chug.
over.
Them I just saved us.
It doesn't really chug, but it's like a.
Yeah, see, that's cool.
Yeah. And that's when it stops. Like when it stops, it fucking makes that sound. And when it moves, it obviously sounds different.
Right.
I forgot what I was saying. Yeah, so the girls were, and they said we have good coffee as well. And the first thing that came to mind was my state has a local, we have a local iced coffee brand that is beyond delicious that I think everyone in the world needs to try it. It's so addictive, and I just suggested that to her. But beyond that, I was like, we have good coffee.
Is that a popular thing in the world? Do people know Australians for their coffee?
I wouldn't think so. Like I've never heard of it. Definitely not.
Granted,
Like-
I'm not a coffee fan, so I don't know. For all I know, you guys are known for your coffee.
Well, my state sort of is in a sense that we're known for our iced coffee, but other than that, not really. We also have good wine here as well. So a lot of wineries around my
Right.
area. But besides that, and kangaroos obviously, and all
Yeah.
the usual stuff.
Kangaroos, giant ass spiders.
Yeah. Funnily enough, I haven't seen a giant spider in a long time.
Good.
But that is the one joke that
I
I get
hope they're
from
extinct.
every fucking American I talk to is always they always go to the deadly creatures and all that sort
Yeah.
of thing.
Americans don't like creatures. That's a big thing that Americans are all about. That like when I first arrived in England, one of the first things that I learned was, oh, the windows don't have screens. The doors don't have screens. There's nothing to keep the bugs out. So if you have a window open, welcome bugs. You're gonna get spiders, you're gonna get flies, you're gonna etc etc etc. And it sucks. In America, it's huge to keep bugs out of your house.
I will say this, our flies here, like, you know, if you're going to go into, like, the desert or even here during the summer, you know, I recommend a fly net. Like, it is that ridiculous.
Well, you guys have those big-ass horse flies, don't you?
We do indeed.
Ugh.
For a while since I've seen one of those, but they're horrifying. Even though they're not going to sting me, but I think they're a bee.
Oh, see, I've met horse flies that'll bite you.
Oh, well, fuck horseflies then.
Yeah, they have pincers that are ugh.
I think we called them blowflies when I was little.
Oh, that is one name for them.
Yeah.
I think.
And I don't know. Yeah. So they mentioned coffee, and I'm thinking, what is it about Australian coffee? Where did you get this idea that we've got good coffee?
Yeah, I've never heard that.
Yeah, I was particularly interested. So it was interesting to see the points of view of the people. And obviously they thought, like, you know, Australian men were, you know, like they had their own perspectives on what Australian men were like.
Sure.
And, like, you know, I think to some extent, like, they sort of expect Australian men to be like you and me. So it's like, you know, the way that you treated your wife. Believe it or not, even though we make fun of people who are being, like, you know, milady, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
You know, and the way that you and I look, you know, we both look like Gabe Newell, right?
Yeah. That's one way to put it, yeah.
Yeah, and, you know, the sort of milady sort of thing, even though they bully the fuck out of us, and that's one thing, is like, that, you know, you get from, like, the West, the pushback is like, oh yeah, you've got an extensive katana collection, you probably look like Gabe Newell, right? And you're probably, like, you know, respectful to women or whatever the fuck, you know, massive beta simp.
Sure.
Like, if you ask any woman in Japan, right, if you go, like, any street interview online, you ask them, like, what do you think of Western guys, the first thing they say is, oh, well, they seem to be, like, ladies first, you know?
Yeah.
And chivalrous
Which is
and
true.
that sort of thing.
Usually.
And so that's what they sort of expect. So even though, like, you get the West, like, we bully each other for being like that, like, towards, like, anime girls or whatever, some Japanese people, I'm not saying, oh, I can't speak all Japanese people, but some
Sure.
Japanese people, girls, expect that treatment from Western guys. And if
Well,
they don't
I
get
can
it,
agree that
it's
the milady thing can get pretty weird, but being
Yeah.
polite's good.
yeah,
Like,
it's
be
like opening
polite.
doors and
Politeness is a good thing.
yeah. But I think being polite in Japan is like I think it's also because it's like top of mind for a lot of Japanese people, so like they expect that.
Politeness is a big
Which I
thing
understand.
over there, yeah.
Yeah, politeness and all that.
And the culture is going away a little bit. People are not nearly as polite as they used to be.
Yeah, maybe not. So it's kind of funny though, even though like we make fun of each other for sort of being like that here in the West. It's like it sort of would work in your favour if you wanted to date, you know, if you wanted to date a Japanese woman. I'm not saying every woman, but you know, I'd say the majority, you know, they would prefer it if you were polite.
At least a few, you know.
But then you have like the simps who will be like, the simps, well, not the simps, the incels who are like never simp over a woman, man. And it's like, you see, this is why you're single. You know,
Right.
I'm not saying donate $1,000 to a troop train, but that's
Yeah.
what I'm talking about. But if you,
Sacrifice
you're
your
saying, like, you know,
kidneys now. You don't need to.
you know, give your fucking left kidney to the fucking like Chinese regime. You know, I'm not saying do that, but what I
Yeah.
am saying, right, is, you know, like treat a woman nicely, at least. You know, like any form of decent treatment of a woman is not simping. I'm sorry to inform them. Like it's just not.
Yeah.
Like it's just being a decent human being.
Yeah. Well, if you simp, it's taking it too far, you know? Like, it's like politeness is good, but simping is taking politeness to like the nth degree. You're going too far with it, essentially.
To the point where it's like creepy or
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you're too polite, then like you're really difficult to talk to. Essentially, is kind of the logic I use.
like. But sometimes like you see them like, you know, like sometimes I've seen incels like label Valentine's Day as simping,
Yeah, I've heard that.
which is like, huh, what?
Yeah, well, I mean, a lot of guys, or at least the culture used to be, I won't say now, but the culture used to be, oh, you know, it's Valentine's Day, better go to the shop. I'm going to buy flowers and chocolate and etc., etc., etc. And then I'm going to bring it to my wife and she doesn't have to do anything. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
That's changed a lot recently. It's more of a mutual gift exchange. You can just get something for your significant other. Granted, my perspective is going to be disconnected. Me and my wife don't really do holidays. We just kind of get each other gifts as we decide we want to get each other gifts. So we don't really observe
And
birthdays,
that's a good healthy
Valentine's,
relationship. I do like
Christmas,
that.
etc. We just get shit.
You know, while we're on the subject of Valentine's Day, did you know, and like this is how much I've extensively researched Japan, and this is where like a lot of people would hate me because like they would think I fetishize Japan and all that. I certainly don't. I understand Japan has its problems, and I'm not sitting here saying it's a fucking utopia.
Sure.
And I'm not trying to say that, you know, Japanese women are any better than Western women, you know, like, you know, or anything like that, or if they're any different or whatever.
Sure.
You know, for all I know, I'm in for a massive shock. You know. But on Valentine's Day, it's really, really weird. So on Valentine's Day, the girls actually have to give guys gifts. And,
oh, you're talking about the chocolate or the cookies?
Yeah, like they have to.
Chocolate or the cookies?
Yeah, everything. Like, you know, like basically it's for like Valentine's Day is specifically the way it works is on Valentine's Day the girls give the guys gifts, and then they have like a separate white day where like the guys will sort of return the favor.
Yeah. Well, isn't it a thing where like they do the Valentine's Day gift, and then essentially if the affections are returned, you get something in return?
I would assume so. Or like maybe like the white day is it's more something. Maybe I might need to ask my Japanese teacher, but
right.
I would assume like if it's returned, that's like a confession of love. Maybe I'm not really 100% sure. But like a lot of the girls say it's like a lot of the girls don't like it because it's stressful having to like, you know, come up with the gifts for guys. And I always sort of laugh at it because it's like that's how it feels for like a lot of men, like here in the West sometimes, you know. Like I'm reminded of that meme from Futurama where like what was it? Fry is like, oh, Valentine's Day's coming up. Shit, I forgot to get a girlfriend again. You know what I mean?
Well,
like,
to be honest, never watched
you how lonely
Futurama.
you are. Like, you know, it becomes like the day it reminds you how lonely you are or how you don't have a girlfriend.
Right.
Yeah, like that sort of thing. So it's I guess what I'm saying is like it's really, really bizarre to sort of see it flipped on its head.
Yeah.
But yeah. Oh yeah, so to answer like the simp thing, or sorry, the incel thing, sort of the whole reason why I went down the incel phase is because I got so sick and tired of being lectured by a bunch of people on how bad it was for me to like want a Japanese wife or, you know, want a foreign wife or whatever, right?
Right.
That I ended up going down that rabbit hole that I should not quite frankly have gone down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The point, like where I was like watching YouTubers like Taylor the Fiend talk about how bad Western women are and, you know, etc., etc. And it got to the point where I was just convinced in my mind that no woman would ever love me. And eventually I came to the realization, oh, hey, so this stuff, not very good for me. I should probably stop watching it as soon as possible. You know, it's really starting to fuck with my mind.
Yeah.
And then I watched like, you know, Wheat Waffles and the Black Pill, and I began to think in my head, oh yeah, women only care about looks. It doesn't go the way that I look. Forget it, you know. And I found out very quickly how wrong that perspective was. Like it all sort of unraveled, like all the incel talk, everything, all sort of like unraveled and came undone. Like the whole worldview fell apart right before my very eyes.
Right.
And that was the speed dating event that I was telling you about.
Right.
You know, where the girls didn't care how I looked. They didn't know my height. They didn't know my age. They didn't know any of that. They didn't even know my income. Right? They knew nothing about me. And I watched as two girls, no joke, wrote my name down because one of them did because I liked Dragon Ball Z, and another one did because I was interested in learning French, Dutch, and German. And that was it. And it was that moment that I came to a realization, looks not even like on these girls' minds. That wasn't even what they were looking at.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I mean, there's certainly some of them who are like, you know, looks is everything they look at. People are like that. Those people do exist. I'm sure that the main people in charge of Black Pill and stuff, I'm sure they met one or two. But you can't use like those single experiences as kind of, this is every woman. And it is easy to fall into the Black Pill hole whenever you've tried to put yourself out there a couple times and it is not working. Nobody seems to like you. Like once a long time ago, I was briefly in the I didn't know it was Black Pill back when I was out there and doing stuff. That's not what it was called. It wasn't called anything.
There was no terminology, right? You know, no incel, no fucking...
Like, this was way back in the day, so... There really was no name for it. So, and I was briefly in there because I felt super unloved, and it's really easy for people to think, well, I need to get there has to be a reason. It can't be my fault,
Yeah, you begin to theorize and come up like it's everybody else's fault, like it's not your own fault.
Yeah. And facing that it is your fault, it sucks.
Yeah.
It sucks to be like, you know what, I'm unloved because of A or B or C or,
Yeah, as brutal as it is, I was probably very quick to blame Western women for all my problems.
Yeah.
The harsh reality is that I barely had the chance to put myself out there. I've been on Tinder once, and that's Tinder. You know
granted, I mean? Tinder should not be your gold standard for
not exactly,
anything.
Yeah. And, the moment it all came crashing down was when I met these Japanese girls at a marriage agency who sort of altered my perspective a bit. And this is the thing about, how Wheat Waffle sort of says, oh yeah, well, what was it? Women care about looks more than men. There is no fucking parallel universe where you could convince me that that's true because of the hormone testosterone. Like, do I have to elaborate any further?
No.
I don't know if I do. Like, this is the hormone that drives men's physical attraction, and 9 times out of 10, it's going to be wide hips, large breasts, etc., right?
Yeah.
Women don't have that hormone. So without that hormone, right, they're not going to be as judgy about looks. You know what I mean?
Well, it's a slippery slope nowadays to go down the biology route anyway. A lot of people have grown away from that, essentially, and there are some people who get real offended if you imply that any of their attraction is due to, I can't think of the word. I literally just said it a minute ago, and it's already left my head. It's been like 10 seconds. The biology, I think is the word I was looking for.
Biology.
Instinct. Yeah, there it is. Instinct.
Yeah, instinct, yeah.
Some people really hate that. Some people despise it.
I'm just saying, like, without that hormone, like, it sort of doesn't make any sense that women would care any more than men would. In fact, it makes sense that they would care less.
Yeah. I mean, I think in the end it's about the same. Like, obviously men are ruled by their sexual attraction a little bit more, just on the basis of that hormone and men penis. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. We just want to hump everything that moves, you know what I mean?
At least when we're, especially when we're growing up and we have the whole puberty thing to deal with. Things are really high at that point. So it happens.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, I'm not a woman, so obviously I can't talk, but, like, if you want my humble opinion, I really don't think that women care anywhere near as much as men do, but that's just, like, I'm sure they do, but it's probably more around the facial area.
Right.
That would be my guess. However, your wife exists, which sort of upends all of that, so it's like,
But see, that's what I was trying to tell him. But I don't know. He really didn't want to listen to me. Which I get, coming to face with the reality that, it's on me. It's because I don't wash my hair. I don't use good deodorant. I don't you know, and I really hate it
I
too.
don't leave
'Cause-
my house.
Yeah, and I really hate it too because there's dudes like Wheat Waffles who are like, oh yeah, I go to clubs all the time and I get all these women fawning all over me. And I'm like, if that were true, why the fuck are you in charge of all of this?
Plot twist, though,
You're
it's not
telling
true
people that
because
it doesn't help.
In the research that I've done, he's only had like 3 girlfriends.
Well, I didn't do any research beyond a few of his videos, and watching his video
Yeah,
where he like goes through a shelf and he points out all his different oh, these are the things I buy, and then another video where he's like, these are the clothes you should wear, but I'm not going to show my face. Absolute refusal. You're never going to see my face.
At the end of the day, he went after a coach by the name, I can't remember, a coach who had slept with like 1,500 women, and like said he was like a 4 or a 5, like on his rating scale.
Right.
And the coach basically responded by effectively posting or showing everyone his private Facebook, or his, I should say, his public Facebook, because you know it technically wasn't doxing because his information was all public.
Yeah.
But yeah, he basically revealed his face on his behalf and said, "Okay, let's see what you look like." And like, all he did was a bit of research.
I think the worst part is I hate to use the word grifter. I don't like the word. People use it all the time, way too much. But he
I've heard
has
that word.
he has a Fiverr.
What does it mean again? I forgot what it
It's
means.
just
Sorry,
someone
I've heard
who
it.
acts a certain way and pretends to believe certain things, so you'll give them money.
Oh yeah.
And people use it all the time for people they disagree with. But my guy has a Fiverr online, where if you just give him like $15, he'll tell you how you look. He'll tell you what to do to get women. It's
sorry.
a surefire way.
I'm sorry, as somebody who has made fun of people's looks online many a times for my YouTube career, I'm just gonna say it. That's fucking horrible. You know, people like, and like I don't know if you know this, King, but like because I have my own YouTube channel, it's like it's called like Rads.
Sure.
And I have about 1,300 subscribers on it now, I think.
Sure.
And I made fun of people's looks on there, but even I, you know, looking at Sam Wheatley's fucking rating system, right?
Yeah.
You know, would be like, okay, seriously, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, why would you, like, it's bad enough, right? Let's talk about, right, the fact, you're making fun of somebody for their appearance. Right, okay, cool. You know, doesn't bother me as much. It's not nice, but I'm not as fazed by it. I've done it myself. You know, I'd be a hypocrite if I did call it bad, right? But getting somebody, like, paying somebody money to rate your face, you know what it reminds me of, King? It reminds me of how in like in the 1930s, you know, 1940s, when the Nazis were in power, they would like measure people's noses to find out if they were Jewish or not. Like it's sort of like that's how like almost like how fucking retarded his point of view is when you like really look into it.
Remember, you can't say.
Oh shit! Sorry.
Yeah, just use rubbish instead.
I completely. How fucking
it's
his
fine.
point
You're
of view
fine.
is.
Yeah, and
How rubbish.
my least favorite part about it is he's made a lot of money from it. A lot of people sit there and are like, yeah, dude, I'm about to pay this dude some $15 to tell me I look like a 40-year-old man. Oh, he said I was balding. This is perfect.
So full confession, right? I almost did it. I almost did it myself.
Oh no!
Back when I was doing this content, I almost did it. Like I don't know what had come over me. I must have been so far down the rabbit hole at that point. I had no idea that what I was consuming was absolute crap. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it took an experience, right? Obviously involving real life women.
Yeah.
Funnily enough, to pull me out of that situation and be like, no, here's what they're really like. You know, like when I went into the Japanese thing, right? I was full on expecting these women to take one look at me and be like, nut. Because, and I like, not only had Wheat Waffles' crap was in my head, but I had a friend of mine who was also like a massive Japanophile who, like, thinks that Japanese women are, you know, just as horrible as Western women. In fact, you know, he's always like, he's telling me a story about how he met one woman, and he had pretty fucked up teeth, right? You know, like really rotting teeth.
British.
You know, really bad teeth. Like I'm telling you, you know. Imagine the like algae sort of teeth, right?
Ew.
And yeah, it was that bad. And so a Japanese woman went up to him and at like an event or something, I don't know what it was, and sort of looked at his teeth and reflexively like, you know, jerked away from him. Like,
well, my man's
was no
got to
longer
fix his
interested.
teeth.
Yeah, obviously. And he was obviously quite horrified by that event.
Yeah, of
and
course.
he used that as like, whenever I sort of said anything that was good about Japanese women, he would sort of like counteract, like, yeah, but what about this experience I had? Or what about that experience
Yeah,
I
but
had?
what
Or
about my
this,
teeth?
you know? Yeah. And it's like, you know, and I was sort of trying to say, I think Japanese women have a quality about them that is, you know, that is different, you know, from the majority. I'm not saying every woman, you know, not
Yeah.
you know, not, you know, it's sort of different. And he would be like, no, I refuse to believe it, you know. And a lot of people out there, refuse to believe it, you know. And I still sort of to this day sort of kind of believe it, but maybe I'm wrong.
Well, it takes
especially
some learning. You know.
Yeah, but especially after this experience I had, it sort of convinced me more of that point of view because of the way that these women treated me when I was on this call. They were really, really lovely people.
Right.
You know what I mean? And they were sort of exactly what I expected them to be before I'd gone full black pill. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I'd gone in with that mindset in mind that these girls were going to look at me and be like, oh my god, no. And it was quite the opposite, you know. And it makes me feel quite bad, sort of, for all those incels out there that are viewing that content that don't really know that, hey, look, if you've never spoken to a girl in your life, you know, chances are what you're viewing here is, there's no way that you can actually put it to the test. So why don't you go out there and test it?
At first, a long time ago, I felt bad. I was like, you know, I wanted to feel bad. And then it sort of came around to, you know, that like they're at hard luck. You know what I mean? It sucks. I get it. But even if you told them,
you get dealt the, what is the saying? You get dealt the card that you were given, or whatever,
yeah,
the hand that you were given.
And you have to, I don't know, kind of the logic I use is, even if we told them they were wrong, they would tell us that we were wrong, on the basis that, oh, well, this guy said otherwise, I as you know, I must be right, etc., etc., etc. And they would shut us down on the basis that, oh, well, we've seen examples, oh, etc., etc. Lies.
I sort of get it in the sense that, like, when you sort of get bombarded, like in my case, of how much hatred there is for a Western guy to sort of want to date a Japanese girl, right? I sort of understand, sort of, where they're coming from and why they may feel the way that they do, right? But, you know, like, there's a certain level of crazy, you know, that you can accept in your life before you gotta go, wait a minute, this is ridiculous, this is rubbish, you know?
Right.
Yeah, but go on.
Yeah, I had to stop feeling bad for them after a certain point. Like,
sorry,
what?
You lagged out a bit there.
Oh, I said I had to stop feeling bad for them after a certain point. I understood that, or I understand that, you know, life is hard. Life sucks sometimes, and I get not feeling super great about yourself, but to resort to kind of how they go around to dealing with it, it's not right how they end up dealing with it, if that makes any sense. I feel like I didn't describe that correctly, but if that makes any sense.
Dare I sound like a feminist here, but it's sort of like, why would you go down the misogyny sort of route, you know, where, like, it's all women's fault, you know?
Yeah.
What was I going to say? Yeah, so that incel sounds like a real cat. How did you end up meeting him, and how did you end up finding out that he was an incel? Or if he did,
Are you talking about the incel on the server?
Yeah, the guy who got kicked.
Oh yeah, wild story. All right.
Here we go.
So he joined a long time ago. It was a while ago, and he joined. He would join the stream almost every day. He would chat with me nearly the whole time. He was nice. He lived in Belgium, I believe.
Yeah.
And we talked back and forth for ages. And I liked him pretty good. I didn't have anything against him. And then one day, he sends... at the time, we also had someone named Spooky Hoops in the server. He sends...
Yeah, I actually spoke to Spooky recently. Like, when you went offline, I spoke to him. Because he likes
Spooky's a woman. She's not in the server anymore.
Oh, sorry, not Spooky, my bad. I'm thinking of somebody else.
You're probably talking about Token.
Yeah, Token, my bad,
yeah.
sorry.
But, he suddenly sends... he adds me. And he sends one of the Blackpill videos. And he's like, hey, you need to look at this. And I'm like, okay, I'll look at it, I guess. And it was at this point where he started talking about purchasing a prostitute, how he's going to... He desperately needs to get rid of his V card. He's never going to find a girlfriend. He's lamenting about how he hates his job. He's never going to get a woman.
If I may weigh in on the prostitute perspective, if you were going to lose your virginity for the first time, why, in God's name, would you do it with a prostitute, especially at age 19?
See,
I've just got to ask.
Well, to be fair, I can't actually rightly remember if he was 19 or if he was like 28.
Well,
I've completely forgotten what his age was, but it was like somewhere around there. I can't really remember. But he sends those videos.
If you want my humble opinion based on memory of like listening to you guys talking, I think he's 28.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Anyway,
But even still.
Yeah.
Still don't get it.
Yeah. Well, he sends all the... Well, that's what I explained to him during that stream as well. It was during the Talos Principal stream. And I was like, yeah, don't... Oh, it's on YouTube somewhere. It's on YouTube somewhere. I can't rightly remember the name. But it's somewhere in there. But that's kind of what I explained to him. I was like, is that really how you want to lose it? You don't want it to be special in any way? You just want to get rid of it? So I kind of told him not to. I don't know if he ever did. I was like, it's a waste of money, you shouldn't do it, etc., etc., etc. And then he eventually comes back, and he's like, hey, you should really check out the Black Pill. Like, not just one video, he just says, check out the Black Pill. And I'm like, I really would rather not. He's like, well, you should react to some Black Pill videos on stream. And I was like, oh no.
Look, King, you're a married man, like an overweight, 400-pound married man to a... Is she an attractive woman? I don't know. It's hard to tell in this stream. I'd say...
I mean, I find her attractive. I wouldn't have married her otherwise.
Yeah. I mean, she looked attractive based on, like, you know, the corner of my eye, what I can see. It's like,
I mean, she doesn't come on camera much, so...
Yeah, I was trying to get a look at her in the video, because I was like, okay, look, if this guy's married, he's probably not a good-looking woman. And then I saw her, and I was like, oh, damn. Like, he actually married a, you know, decent-looking girl.
Yeah.
But...
Well, she's in the military, so she can't look, you know.
Well, that would explain a lot. She can't be huge because she's in the military. By the way, I don't mean it to sound like I'm hitting on your wife.
No, yeah, you're fine.
What I'm trying to say is obviously she was a good-looking woman, I can tell.
Yeah.
And, I lost my train of thought. That's right. You, King, is somebody who's like who's overweight, 400 pounds, and I believe slightly cross-eyed, although it's hard to tell.
No, I have no idea. I wear glasses and it's at an angle anyway, so.
Yeah, and you're married. Like, as somebody like you must have like obviously very quickly like been converted straight to the Black Pill.
I mean, I was for a while.
Oh yeah, women fucking like, you know, like in your current state, you're like, women obviously only care about looks. He says married to a woman in the military.
Yeah.
Attractive woman in the military.
It was after this point where he said you should respond to it. I was like, you know what? Okay, we'll have a stream where I respond to these videos and I watch them, and I was like, you're gonna have to show up so I can explain to you why this is wrong. And I mean, you can see he showed up. I'm talking to him damn near the whole time, but
yeah.
He didn't listen for even a second. He spent the whole time telling me I was wrong the whole time. Just, no, you're wrong. Stop it. No. He knows better.
So we agree. So we agree. So we agree. No, we don't agree. So we agree. No, we don't.
Yeah, I don't know what he was on with the whole. Oh, so yeah, we're on the same. I was like, no, what?
So you agree with the video? No, I don't agree with the video. I'm telling you verbatim, I do not agree with this video. It is bullshit.
Like I stopped at nearly every point. It was like a. Actually, I was going to say this earlier. When you first joined, I was suspicious of you that you were one of the incels who had recently found my video, because for some reason, a lot of comments from incels.
I completely understand why you felt that way, and I don't blame you. But to be honest, like, I had just finished the speed dating event, and I was actually looking for counter points of view, and your video came up, and it was like, you know, it was just further reinforcement that the whole thing was bullshit.
Sure.
Because I'd just come out of the Japanese speed dating event, and my first thought was, I have to talk to this guy. You know?
Well,
so it was the polar opposite. Like,
so many comments.
Yeah. I'd come into your video and I was there and I was like, oh, you know, like when you said that you were married, to be honest, after having my Japanese dating experience, because this wasn't long after I had my Japanese dating experience.
Right.
My first reaction, because my mind at that point had been completely changed, you know, where I currently am today, right?
Right.
My first reaction was, I'm not in any way surprised. Of course he's married. Why wouldn't he be? You know, now that I've found out what women are really like, you know, of course he could be married. Why couldn't he be married?
Right.
You know? And you seeing who you were married to and what you looked like, right? Only further pulled me out of that sort of incel phase. So it was quite the opposite. But I understand exactly why you felt the way that you felt. So I don't blame you.
Well, I felt that way specifically because, like, right before you joined, I had an influx of these comments that were like the same, like, 6 profile pictures, all saying the same thing. Oh, you took 6 hours on an 8-minute video. And each time I delete them, but in my head I think it wasn't even an 8-minute video. You're subscribed to the guy. You could go to his channel. It wasn't an 8-minute video. It was 100 beliefs.
Of course you took... I mean, of course you could, like, you know, take 6 hours to respond. That's how wrong his video was.
Yeah. Well, and because the incel, his name was Gabalima.
Yeah.
How much the incel wanted to argue with me back and forth. Like, I would say something and be like, in my experience, obviously this isn't all women. And I would, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And he'd be like, no, you're wrong. Wrong.
My response to him would be like, this guy's married to an attractive woman and look at the way that he looks. That right there dismantles your whole worldview. Oh, but
yeah, he didn't care. I was an anomaly.
He won the fucking lottery, and it's like, my response as well was like, okay, so if women only went for the most attractive guys, could you care to explain to me how on earth unattractive people exist at all in the first place? And they would say, well, attractive people only date unattractive people. Well, that's not true, okay? Because I'm here, and my mum, I would consider her an attractive woman. My dad, you know, like, he's decent. Like, he's not the most attractive man in the world. And here I am. So could you explain me? Could you explain any sort of child out there that was born out of an ugly parent and an attractive parent, which I'm sure there are plenty?
Oh, there have to be.
Yeah. Like, how do ugly people exist at all? And you say, well, it's 100% ugly DNA. Like, okay.
His explanation, every time I brought that up, because I brought it up a couple times to see if he had any legitimate argument against it. Every time it was, you are a statistical anomaly, you don't count, you're 1 in a million.
But you can't be a statistic, even if it was 1 in a million, right? 1 in a million, let's say, okay, that was the odds. There's 7 billion people on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
That's, how much is that, like 700,000? Not even?
Well, even if you took it to America only, because at the time I lived in America, it was a high school thing. That's still 1 in a million. That's still 300 million in America.
Yes.
Even if you constricted it to only Alabama, I don't know Alabama's population, but like, you know, his arguments were always silly. It's not like he.
Well, let's say, okay, hypothetically, you were a statistical anomaly, and I very much doubt that is the case, right?
Sure.
because it depends on the woman. I mean, your wife, obviously, in my opinion, she strikes me, and it's the same with my guitar teacher. She strikes me as the kind of woman that simply didn't care.
I'm really sorry.
You know what I mean?
That.
About how you looked. And just doesn't seem to be that sort of person.
Right.
She seems to be a very straight. Well, she's in the military. She seems to be a very straightforward, no bullshit. If I like somebody, I like them, and I'm going to marry them type of girl. Not marry just anybody, you know. Like, doesn't really care about looks. Like, let's just get on with it. You know, I'm saying she's a good person. There are plenty of girls out there like that. I'm fairly certain.
Oh, there are. There have to be. Like,
I've met them.
A lot of people just wouldn't exist otherwise.
Yeah. Like, some people just don't care.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's just not that important to some people. Good for them. You know?
Like, for me, I wouldn't personally like, and this is why I want to lose weight, right? Because, you know, I wouldn't date an obese person. That's not what I'm attracted to.
Yeah.
But that's really the only criteria that I have. You know?
Sure.
Like, if they were cross-eyed, I probably wouldn't care. If they were an amputee, I probably wouldn't care. You know? That's just me. I'd say, well, you're different to women. No, I'm fucking not. Like, if I could exist as a man who has certain qualities like that, why couldn't a woman?
Yeah, that kind of point was always a little silly too. The whole, well, you're different from women. But yeah, obviously I'm not a woman, but women aren't like dogs. They're not different. They're not a different species. They're still fucking human.
They're not that different. You know, they're not fucking aliens.
Yeah, like they're still human.
They're as human as you and me, right? They have the same fucking. I'm sure there are women out there, right?
Yeah.
Who have the same sort of incel feelings, where they just want to.
Oh, there are. They're called fem cells or whatever.
Fem cells.
Yeah.
Like, I'm reminded of like an episode of an anime that I watched where there's this girl in it, and she's constantly trying to find her love. You know, like her first. You know, she's trying to find love, and it's like a constant struggle for her. You know, there's an example. You know, they exist.
Right. Oh, they exist. There's a whole Reddit for it, I'm pretty sure.
Incels, I can imagine. I can already see the counter-argument, the incel counter-argument. Well, you see, these women are single. They have so many options. They're single because they can't find a good man because they friend-zoned all the good men when they were young. It's like, what? How the fuck? How could you possibly know that?
I mean, granted,
like,
there are women who have done that, but you couldn't know it, you know.
Like, you're not fucking, like, apparently I've discovered that, like, Taylor the Fiend and all these incels have, like, psychic abilities where they have the ability to analyze the past of every woman they come across using, like, a fucking Scouther or something from Dragon Ball Z, like, you know, some rubbish like that.
No, do you not understand? They can read women's mind. That's how they know so much about women.
Exactly.
That's why they're able to be like, oh, women like this and this and this.
They see a woman who's struggling in her dating life in her 30s, and it's like, well, you know, it must be because she's dating crap men. She stopped dating crap. Oh, she's dating crap men because they're based on their looks. And it's like, well, I don't know. Like, for all we know, she could have been dating ugly men that were just terrible. You know, she could have been dating incels.
Right.
You know, like, fucking imagine dating Taylor the Fiend, for example. I know you haven't seen his YouTube channel, but oh my god. You know?
Yeah, you mentioned that, but yeah, I haven't seen him. I only ever went so far as to see Wheat Waffles because that's who Gabalima really wanted me to look at. You know, he was the perfect black pill YouTuber.
He's not quite as bad as Wheat Waffles, but like he takes like videos of girls on TikTok saying, "I'm struggling with my dating life, help, I don't know what to do," and he'd be like, "See, if you didn't fucking, you know, act like a 304 and do all this and do all that right in your 20s." You know, or if you didn't do this and you didn't do that, and 9 times out of 10 I found myself eventually asking myself, how on earth do you know anything about these women?
Yeah. Did you look them up on Facebook? You know, did you like, find their private lives?
Like, do you have their personal fucking, like, you know, dating? It's like, well, he just assumes, like, well, if they haven't found a man in their 30s, then it's their own fault.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, okay, so what does that make you?
Well, see, they kind of pretend like it's not important that they don't have a relationship now. See, they know all this stuff, and the reason they're not in a relationship is so they can teach us, you know, so they can teach us to be better. Because otherwise, who's gonna teach us? Who's gonna help us
That's
learn?
another thing I don't understand about red pill and like black pill and all that. It's like, oh, you got to better yourself for yourself. It's like, get the fuck out of here. No man betters themselves for themselves and themselves only.
Yeah.
I think to some extent there is always a bit of attraction to the opposite sex that is involved in it. No matter how you slice it, no matter how you try and sit yourself at night and sell yourself at night. I'm only doing this for myself because I'm a fucking badass.
Yeah.
You know.
Well,
like,
granted, to an extent, like if someone's trying to lose weight, like if they're fat and they're trying to lose weight, I'm definitely always of the argument that if you want to lose weight, make it for the reason that you want to be thinner, you want to have less weight. It needs to be for you, not for a relationship, because that relationship, if your relationship is founded on the fact that you aren't fat, then the minute you become fat, because that will happen the minute you get comfortable again, because you had to work to not be fat. So the minute you become fat again, you're gonna get comfy, you're gonna get fat again.
The solution is
it's gonna
to
fall
find
apart.
a diet. Yeah, and I think the solution to that would be to find a diet you can stick to all year round, so that you never go back to your old ways, regardless. You know, that's my opinion anyway.
Yeah.
And this is somebody who's been trying for nearly 3 years now, 4 years to lose weight. I was nearly as heavy as you, I think, at one point. What was I? 140 kilos. 140 kilos is about 309 pounds. Around there.
Well, I have no idea of my weight, really. Like, I generally ballpark around 400, because that just kind of feels right. But I don't know. I haven't weighed myself in ages.
You certainly didn't look, like, massive, if you're my humble opinion.
No, I'm not, like, I don't look nearly as heavy as I am. Like, that's the reality. The thinnest I've ever been, and this is way back when. I worked out every day. I ate one meal a day. It was a microwave pizza. That's all I ever had. And at that, I was at my thinnest. I was 240 pounds. And that's just because I'm a big dude. I'm a heavy-set dude. And that was at my absolute thinnest. Now I'm quite heavy. I don't just eat a microwave pizza.
I think now my current weight, I would guesstimate, is around 120. Maybe even shot up to 130, because I recently let myself go because I haven't been getting work. I focused so heavily, I got down to about 115 kilos at my lightest, and then I let myself go because work stopped giving me shifts, and I just started ordering Uber Eats and started ordering whatever the fuck I wanted.
Yeah.
It's bad for you, don't ever do that.
I mean, the heaviest I can think of that I weighed myself, I was about 360 pounds, roughly. That was the heaviest I weighed myself. I don't remember when that was, but that was the heaviest I ever weighed myself. What's up, Kaneko? Kaneko's in the chat. Yes. She's giving helpful tips. First she said, "Ew, women," which was very funny, and then she said, "Cam makes you look better depending on angles as well." True, but I just kind of am that big, to be honest.
I don't think I was 260 pounds, but I think I was getting there. 360 pounds, sorry. I think I was getting there because I was eating fucking these things called finger buns every day. Like the whole.
I've never heard of a finger bun.
It's don't ever have it. It'll ruin everything for you, dude. But it's basically like a bread bun with like white icing on top of it along the top. It's kind of that's kind of my way of explaining it. It's sort of
so it's kind of like a honey bun.
I believe so, yeah, sort of something like that. It was like
Most
long
I've
thing,
ever
like a hot dog.
weighed was like 130. Jesus, Kaneko. You don't need to flex on us like this.
That's the thing I noticed. I think with a lot of women, right? This is just my opinion, but like a lot of women tend to get down to really, really thin weights to the point where like it's almost unhealthy because they think that their fat, like having any kind of fat on them whatsoever, is bad. And it's like, no, like quite the opposite actually. Like some of the time, I would, you know, when I see these women, right, these sort of interviews where they say my ideal weight is 40 kilos, I'm just like, you need to be stopped. Like right now, you've got a serious problem.
Well, women do have a separate pressure to be really small. Like a lot of people want to stay under 200, which I get it. 200 is. I get wanting to stay under that, but it is hard for a lot of people. Like for me, my genetics do not like me. My genetics despise.
That's the point, though. It's like, you know, if you could, like Elastigirl, I don't know how much she weighs, but like I would say that she's the average beauty standard for a man, right? Elastigirl. right?
Well, to be fair, she's made
probably,
of elastic.
yeah, but let's say hypothetically you would weigh her. Let's say you're a Pixar lady, Pixar body, right?
Sure.
You wouldn't assume anywhere down like 130 pounds or anything like that. That's just
No,
crazy.
certainly not.
I'd say
Well,
more.
well, she
if you're
has
my
a
humble
mom's
guess.
body. Like when you
Yeah,
become a mom, you have weight that you cannot work off because your body needed that to have a kid, and if you're too thin, you're going to damage the baby.
And my opinion, like Elastigirl, I'd say she may be around 200 pounds. I don't know. Maybe I don't know pounds to kilos, but like.
For all I know,
let's
she
say
might have a like an official weight somewhere. Maybe not.
She might.
'Cause
Yeah, she may well.
there might be some fetishists out there who are like, oh, you know.
Yeah. But like she's not rail thin, and that's the thing. You know, I think a lot of people, like in the fashion industry, they think that like being rail thin is attractive to men. It's not.
Well, Mrs. Incredible is rail thin on her waist.
Yeah, but yeah, rail thin in the waist. You know, is generally what men like. But, like not but that's an idealized, obviously.
Yeah. That's like a really high beauty standard, essentially.
The only way that you get rail thin in the waist, I think, as a woman, like in order, like just based on my experience, like building muscle and all that, is you wouldn't thin the waist. You'd leave the waist as it is, but you just thicken up the thighs, and that would be it, and build up the upper body, you know.
Well, to be honest,
you sort of get that hourglass shape. If you were to do it, if you wanted to do it, I'm not saying you should. But...
Yeah, like if you really wanted men to be like, wow, that's a really thin waist. Just thicken up everything around it so your waist
basically, yeah,
looks super thin.
Yeah, just don't touch the waist because that's bad. Just leave it alone.
Yeah.
As soon as you start thinking about like the size of your waist, it becomes unhealthy.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, and that's. I think a lot. Like, I don't know. It was like I was watching a video of, like, you know, fashion standards for like the beauty industry, and apparently some people think the reason why the beauty standards are for like the supermodels are like rail thin because gay men control that industry. And they don't know what's attractive.
To be honest, it tends to be, at least the really high fashionistas that I've seen. It tends to be really old women that grew up kind of around a different, what's the word I want to look for? A different like culture around it. Because I've seen like, I don't watch a lot of modeling, but I've seen what are they fucking called? Runways. I've seen runways where women walk down it, and they're so thin that the clothes they're wearing fall off. Like that's bad. I like my clothes to be baggy, and it tends to be a complication to get baggy clothes. I can't imagine being thin enough for my clothes to slip off.
I just gotta ask, like, what man out there is attracted to a starving woman? Like, maybe there's
who's
like
ever
an
attracted
extremely
to a starving person?
Yeah, well, maybe there's like a weird fetish out there that I don't know of, but like, it's certainly not the majority. Like, I can tell you that.
It's wild. I feel very bad for people who go into the fashion industry and do that type of thing. It's always really wild to me.
I don't even know how they go like a day without punching walls. Because I remember when I went full on with my weight loss and got down like 150 kilos, I was beginning to pass out.
Yeah, it's not good.
This incel character is really interesting though that you met. Like, he wanted to take a woman's virginity. Like, why exactly?
Yeah,
did he say why?
Did he say why? I'm actually trying to think back. It's been a while since I had a conversation with him. Did he say why? Gabalima. He said. I'm thinking back to the conversation. He mentioned he wanted a virgin because it has been a while. He said.
God, makes you sound like a fucking like medieval person or whatever. Like,
yeah.
Really.
I'm trying to remember what exactly his wording was, because I know he said he wanted a virgin. He really wanted a virgin. He said that was one of his requirements. It was he was not going to what's the word I want to use? He was not going to
like settle for anything less.
yeah, that's the word. Settle. That's the word I wanted to use. Settle. I couldn't remember what the word was, but he wouldn't settle for anything less. He would. It had to be a virgin. They had to have never had sex. They can't have had an impure thought in their, you know.
We have been awarded additional time.
What, can't even have an impure
Why was it?
thought?
I don't think he said. I think his wording might have been the purity thing. I really think that might have been it.
Because they're more pure.
Yeah.
What the fuck kind of reason is that?
Not that they were more pure, that he just wanted a pure woman, if I recall correctly.
A pure woman.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's been a while, so I can't remember the exact wording, but yeah, it was bad.
That is super. Yeah. Bad. Yeah.
Yeah. It was. It got really disturbing when it got to that point, because he just sounded so creepy.
Oh,
you know, because like, damn,
that would a virgin woman.
They've got to be pure. It can't not be pure.
It's like, here's a heavy dose
was
of reality
gross.
for you, man.
Yeah.
Here's a heavy dose of reality for you, man. Most women your age, 28, or like, especially at 20 fucking 8, like, Jesus Christ, yeah, they're not going to be virgins.
See, the worst part is, eventually,
unless they believe in sex before marriage.
Yeah.
Maybe.
The worst part is he eventually sent his face. I don't know if you recall. He was trying to convert Token over to his way of thinking. That was kind of his thing. He wanted to convert Token to be an incel because Token was young at the time, and he really wanted to be like, yeah, Token, come over to my side. Realize I'm right. Token. Oh, luckily Token did not fall for it. Thank God. But that was his whole deal. So
I've had incels contact me, like, not full on incels, but like people who couldn't get girlfriends.
Yeah.
And like, you know, who would always like come to me for advice, as though I had anything like that I could say on it.
Well, he sent Token a picture of his face to kind of prove how ugly he was, essentially.
Yeah.
And he wasn't ugly. He looked fine. Like, he wasn't some Adonis god, but he looked fine. He looked like a friend I had back in high school, which
like
I would describe. Yeah, I would describe the friend I had as a bit of a player. He had as much sex as he fucking wanted.
Who's that deformed character from that Disney movie you were pointing out? Was it Nostradamus?
A character I was pointing out?
Yeah, like from a Disney film that was really deformed. Hunchback?
Quasimodo.
Quasimodo, yeah, thank you.
Yeah, Quasimodo. Yeah.
Yeah, like he's not a Quasimodo type, you know, fucking person.
Yeah, no, he looked fine. You know, no god amongst men, but like, he was fine.
Like, he wasn't Giga Chad, but you know.
Yeah, but if he had properly tried to date a woman without, you know, being a creeper, he could have quite easily. I think. Granted, he didn't fucking try, but I think he could have.
I have really long hair, and honestly, I'm terrified that, like, my mum absolutely hates it. I'm terrified that, you know, that's going to be a big deal breaker for, I think, a lot of women. But then again, you know.
No, you just have to find a woman who likes long hair. Like, my mom hates my beard. She thought my beard was terrible. She told me, shave your beard damn near every day. Like, I would come downstairs and she'd be like, you know what you should do? You should shave your beard. But my wife likes my beard. She likes it quite a lot, so I keep the beard.
Yeah. Imagine, like, you shaved it one day and you'll have to be like, oh god, what have you done?
Yeah. I mean, I occasionally trim it to keep it from being too wild, but
for some reason, I'm having a hard time convincing myself there are girls out there that actually like long hair on guys. But I don't know.
No, there are women who like long hair. Heck, what's that one character's name from Harry Potter. Fucking the guy who Gary Schwartz, the guy who plays Sirius Black, I think. He's super popular with ladies, and he wears long hair all the time. Like it's down to his shoulders, I think. It's been a while since I saw it.
My hair's a bit longer than that.
Yeah, it's been a while since I watched the movie, so I don't have a concrete, you know.
What was his name?
I think it's Gary Schwartz. I think. Hard think. Everyone says they look ugly, yet people for the most part look fine. Yeah, like Gabbo kind of. He seemed to represent that he was the ugliest motherfucker in the world. Like he looked, at least he pretended. He looked like he was fresh out of a chicken factory making nuggets or some junk, and it was wild.
Did he unironically get was it Daniel Radcliffe or?
No, not the person who played Harry Potter. The person who played Sirius Black. I thought it was Gary Schwartz. I'm probably wrong about the name.
Yeah, definitely not Gary Schwartz.
I mean, he's a good bit older now. Like he's full on old now, I think.
Oh, then it might be Gary Schwartz.
Yeah. Well, he played
now.
Sirius Black in the movie. Oh, he's bald now? What the fuck? He had such long hair.
No, Gary Oldman. Sorry.
Oh, Gary Oldman. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I say it's not the Remus character. It was Sirius. He was super popular with ladies at the time.
I'm totally fucking forgetting another character that's really attractive with the ladies. Jon Snow that has long hair.
Jon Snow, Jack Sparrow.
Yeah, Game of Thrones.
People want to fuck that dude all the fucking time.
Oh yeah, Jack Sparrow. Yeah. Totally fucking forgot.
People talk about fucking him all the time. There are men who want to have sex with him just on the basis that he's Johnny Depp. Yeah. And as Jack Sparrow, he had long hair. Usually, he has pretty short hair.
He still has long hair, doesn't he? Johnny Depp.
No, Johnny Depp has short hair now.
Oh.
He really doesn't do long hair most days, I don't think. Most days he goes long, or short.
Actually, no, he does have sort of semi-long hair. If you look at him in the Amber Heard trials, his hair is semi-long. Yeah.
Well, I haven't seen much of him beyond the trial, and I think in the trial he had pretty short hair.
It was tied back. Yeah, it does.
That would do it.
Yeah, pro tip, when you tie your hair back, it looks shorter.
That would do it.
I should know, because it's currently tied back now.
Yeah, see, when I got over here, I was endeavored to get long hair. That was kind of like my plan. I was like, I think it'll look good. I think I want long hair. And then I was cutting my hair once because I wanted to be a little shorter. It was in my eyes and stuff. And I made a minor mistake, and I like swiped a little too far with the razor I was using, or not with the razor, with the clippers. And I had like a little spot on my head, and I was like, all right, well, I'm just gonna shave the whole thing now.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I've stuck with the bald look since then. I prefer it.
Yeah, I like, because I'm a metalhead, and metalheads like have super long hair.
Right.
Like, that's the whole sort of gimmick. But like, that's not the whole reason. Like, I actually do it because I'm also a musician, so when I perform on stage, I want to headbang. When I headbang, I want it to look good.
I mean, so long as you prefer long hair, more power to you.
I mean, like, I don't know if I prefer long hair. I mean, I prefer long hair on Dave Mustaine. I think his fucking hair is absolutely gorgeous.
Right.
For example. But, yeah, like, any issues I have with my long hair, I can take care of it just by tying it back, which is why it's tied back right now as I'm playing this game. You know what I mean?
Right. Just got immediately sniped.
Yeah, so I generally, I don't have a problem with it. My mum does. And I'm confident that every woman does, but yeah.
I mean, my mom didn't like my beard. When I brought up the whole, you know what, I might go long hair, she was like, no. She absolutely refused to even entertain the thought. She said, no, absolutely not. Never gonna happen. And I was like,
First thing my mum said when she found out I was growing out my hair long, she's like, oh god, like a girl.
Ugh.
I'm like, no, well,
Not quite.
like, no, like a dude with long hair. You know, it's it happens.
Yeah. I mean,
That doesn't help that I'm like. It certainly doesn't help that I'm like an overweight guy with long hair, because now I really look like I fucking collect katanas.
well, you just got to be committed.
Yeah, well, it's reaching the
Commit
point
to the
now. I'm just
look.
getting really.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's wet
it's
wipe. I
quite.
haven't seen wet wipe in ages. Funny.
It is quite long at this stage. I'll tell you that.
Hmm.
I got a photo I took a couple of days ago. I'll send it to you. In chat. Oh, not a couple of days ago. I think like 2 days ago. I took this photo.
Well, you sent one in the Discord a couple days ago.
Yeah, that was from a while back.
Hmm.
My hair's a lot longer now. It's on my Instagram. I'll make a comparison photo of me with short hair and long hair if you want to see that one.
It's up to you. I'm chill with whatevs. There are some people in the server who like to send pictures of themselves every once in a while. We got Red in the server. He has long hair. He looks like Danny from YouTube, Danny Sexbang. CJ,
Yeah.
you got a spy behind you. CJ's just gonna ignore me. All right, good on you, CJ. But he looks a lot like Danny, and he has really long hair, and he has had plenty of girlfriends from what he's told us. He lives in Troy, New York.
I had a horrible dream about 9/11 last night. Yeah, so it's in the chat if you want to look at it.
All right. I mean, I'll look at it later. I can't really alt-tab out of this game much, or else it breaks on me.
Stare at that stupid photo of myself forever, sorry. Yeah, so... Yeah. How did you end up meeting him?
Meeting the incel?
Yeah.
Uh,
Did he just join out of nowhere, or...?
yeah, well, I mean, that's generally how it happens. People just kind of join the chat. They find my stream at some point. They join, they have a chat, they enjoy it here, and they decide to stay. That's,
Well, hey, King, let me explain to you why girls hate men.
Oh, no,
Don't wanna
he
date
didn't... When he first joined, he wasn't an incel at all. He was pretty chill at the time. Like, we liked him pretty good. I got along with him pretty good. He was pretty chill. He got worse later on.
I hate to use this term, but like the whole virgin thing is kind of cringe.
Yeah.
Like, pretty cringe as.
Yeah, I generally only use cringe when it comes to TikTok. Because TikTok is...
Yeah.
But I did make one. I uploaded a single clip from 100 years ago.
Seems a
when I
bit
played
personal to
Warzone.
be out of nowhere. It does seem a bit personal out of nowhere to be like, oh yeah, I was a virgin.
Well, I mean, he would join sometimes, and because I was married, he would lament about his luck with women.
Like,
You know,
lament as
I
in
under, huh?
lament.
Yeah, lament, like cry,
Oh yeah.
cry, complain, that type of
About. Well, I mean, you're married, so.
thing. Yeah. I mean, I
speaking
understood,
of-
and people tend to make a bit of a parasocial back and forth with their streamer, which I'm fine with. You know, it's
By the
fine
way,
if
quick-
people want a a friendly relationship with the person who streams. Like, that's fine.
Based on your like being married, obviously, like, based on your experience with that girl that I thought was cute today, do you think I should have said something? Because she was looking at me, wondering why I was looking at her. So.
Generally, in my opinion, if you have the chance, I would say just, even if you don't think it's going to work out well, just say something, anything. Even if you walk up and you're like, hey, I just wanted to say you're pretty. Nothing specific beyond that. I just wanted to say you're really pretty. Have a good one. even if it's just something like that, you know, it never hurts
I was
to
thinking about saying
say
to her,
something.
I was thinking about saying to her, sorry, I thought you were really cute, that's why I was looking at you.
Yeah. I mean, that would have been innocent. If she got super offended, then, you know, it's a bummer, but it teaches you not to talk to that woman again. If you had ever seen her. Like,
Fair enough.
women who take it really poorly aren't women you would have wanted to date anymore.
Yeah.
Because you have to meet people somehow, you know what I mean? And granted, like, sometimes
I'm just
I can
terrified
definitely
that, like,
understand. Like, if I was out and about...
If I had to say something, I'm just terrified that, like, she's going to be like, oh, I'm going to report you for sexual harassment. So that's why I don't do it, because, like, it's in the workplace as well.
Well, was she your coworker?
No, she was not my co-worker.
Then I can understand being, like, in an employee position. It can come across as a little weird because you have that power dynamic where you're the one meant to be professional and meant to be at work and stuff.
Yeah.
So I can understand it to an extent. I mean, I don't know. To an extent, it's like I do get it because nobody wants to be out shopping and some dude walk up to them and be like, "Hey, you're really cute." You know, like nobody wants that. It can be awkward.
She was a co-worker in a sense that she was like another worker, but like she didn't work with me.
Okay.
But she was another employee.
In that case, I might have recommended to. Well, generally, I would recommend not to stare at people if you can help it. But not that you were being creepy or anything, but some people can be weirded out by that. But
it wasn't. I wasn't staring at her like, you know, like fucking really creepy or anything. It was like I was
panting.
I was just. Yeah. No, I was just walking past and I was looking at her briefly, and she thought that she was in the way, and like she tried to get get something out of the way, and I just said to her, "No, you're okay," but I didn't get a chance to explain to her why I was looking at her.
Right.
So I just sort of thought, you know, I'm just not going to say anything.
Yeah. Well, I mean, granted, if she works like in a similar area to you, then it is a bit of a slippery slope. You can get accused of etc. 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 In probably the best case scenario there would be to talk to her when she's off the clock, essentially. So if she's on a break or if you see her leaving, you know, obviously don't follow her, but
it's complicated because I'm what's called like casual, so it's not like basically because the company that I work for is a what do you call it, like a government corporation, which means that there's very little communication that goes on between them and the employees.
Right. And
I'm a casual employee, which means I'm on call. So, and I'm required to go into whatever store I go into that day, so it's totally random 99.9% of the time.
Right.
So, I was probably never gonna like see that woman again for a while.
Right.
But even still, there was still, in my opinion, a significant risk if I had said something.
I mean, generally, I'm always kind of the person who says, take your shot if you have the shot. Like, yeah, it might not have worked out. You might have gotten in trouble. It might have sucked. But I was gonna say a really fucking one of those inspirational "you miss all the shots you don't take" type of thing, but no.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, just take the shots you feel are worth it. Like if at some point you're like, you know what, I could have done it, but maybe it's not worth it.
To be clear, she'd already smiled at me. She actually already smiled at me before.
Well, if you had thought, like, if you were like, you know what, even if I do get in trouble, maybe it's worth it. Maybe it's worth getting in trouble if I get the chance to, you know,
this fucking game,
date this girl and stuff. Then, you know, commit. If you think it's worth it, commit. Don't quit. Go for it. It's down to a personal judgment type of thing. Because, you know, because you could have gotten in trouble if you had said something. It is possible. It's not outside of the realm of possibility that you would say, oh, you know what, you're really cute. you know, I'm not trying to be creepy, but want to bang. You know, you could get in trouble for that.
Yeah, for saying want to bang, yeah.
Yeah,
probably.
obviously don't say that. Preferably, your pickup line should not be, "Do you want to have sex?"
You, me, sex.
Now.
Legend. Yeah, well, I don't. You know that you sort of put it like just saying like I thought you were cute. Sorry for staring at you. Is probably not that bad.
Yeah, no, that's generally fine. There's very little chance that someone's going to take that super personally. Now, it's not impossible. There are people who would take that super personally. There are. I'm sure you'll find one day if you go around asking.
Yeah, like, I've never done it. Like, you know, I did it in high school and primary school. Like, I just creeped girls out whenever I tried it and just sort of stopped.
Yes, the best pickup line, Kaneka says. Yeah, I think that'll work. Just walk up. Sex.
Sex now.
No question,
Yeah.
just sex, period.
You, me, sex now. Yeah, so
We go.
We go.
We go now.
It's like, have you seen that Family Guy skit?
Probably at some point.
Like two cavemen are in like a cave and they're like, you, me, sex. And then they disappear into a cave and there's another caveman there who's like, you're legend.
It reminds me of, there was this comic I read a long time ago where this dude, like, books it into a group of beautiful women and picks one up and she's, like, screaming for a second and then it cuts to him and her with their kids and he's like, and that's how I caught your mother. And she's sitting there smiling, you know. It was a weird comic. Obviously, don't charge into a group of people and say, "You're mine now."
Yeah, don't be literally picking up chicks. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, to be clear though, I'm looking to get out of my current job and move into mining.
Sure.
It's really interesting actually because like the way that mines work in Australia is sort of similar to Canada. I don't know if it's the same in the States. I know you're from apparently like living in the UK, but I just use the States as an analogy. Like we have like fly in, fly out work. So like you fly in to the mine for a week and then you fly back out to where you live and for a week.
I've never heard of that in the States. Granted,
Think you've heard of it?
I don't think I have. Granted, mining in the States, I've never personally been in an area where mines are, so I've never heard of it in the sense that I've never been next to a mine.
Australia, yeah, where I'm living, I'm not next to a mine either, but we have well-known mines in Australia.
Well, I wasn't even close to them. I was in Alabama. There's nothing like that anywhere near Alabama. Alabama's more of a farming state than a mining state.
Yeah, well, we do have, like, let's say my state, for example, we do have mines here, but they're really far north, like really, really, really far.
Right.
But it's like, you know, they're remote, but they're there, and
right.
Yeah. So I was just seeing a post, and like some people, like I know I've been researching a lot about mining and what it's like, and underground mining in particular, it's not easy, as you can imagine.
Well, golly, it's not meant to be.
Yeah, it's working in the fucking mine. And so I was reading a post, because I'm a part of like a bunch of groups on Facebook that have to do with mining, so I really want a fucking mining job, right? Because it's good money in Australia, and we have like some of the best miners in the world. Like it could be 6 figures a year, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And I that's not the only reason, obviously, I'm interested in mining. But I saw a post.
Well, sure, but it's a pretty bow on it.
Yeah, it's the bonus. What was it? I saw a post by a girl, and she was like, I'm really keen to get involved in like the FIFO fly in, fly out lifestyle and get involved in mining. And as soon as I saw that post, I was like, oh my god. Like some people, they think it's like a lifestyle thing.
Right.
Like they think they're going on holiday. you know.
I mean, it does
Like
it
going
does
on-
change a lot of things, and you do get to travel a lot. So I can understand the draw of it. It's the same thing with the military, though. Some people want to join the military for the pure fact that, hey, you know, if we join the military, I could go to England, I could go to Italy, I could go to Japan, I could go to Korea, I could, you know, there are people in the military now that we've talked to that are like, yeah, you know, I'm in the military, I'm super excited to go to Japan because there's a base in Japan. You can go there any time of the year, and people are super excited for that. So people like to travel.
Point, but like, yeah, but like, you know, she's saying like, I want to work in the underground mines and like the fly in fly out lifestyle, and it's like where you're flying to in Australia though, it's very remote, so it's like you know you're flying out in the middle of fucking nowhere, you know.
Well, some people
like,
do.
Well, they have
some people do like that middle of nowhere thing. Because where I'm from, I was from a retirement city that, to be real with you, is in the middle of nowhere. There's not much there. When we wanted to go out and have fun, me and my wife's first date, we went to a huddle house.
Like it was the post like was a full on like it was this girl with like blonde hair, like a TikTok girl, like doing all the poses, everything. You can imagine, you know, my reaction.
Well, there are people who do it just for content, and to be fair, when you do content like that, like you can make some money.
It wasn't that sort of content, so it was like an official like post on a mining chat group that I'm a part of on Facebook.
Okay.
I'm so annoyed. Sorry, I'm raging at this game. So we I'm just gonna let myself get busted. So it was like it's called like Australian mining jobs you don't need like a trade or a degree for. And it's like that's where people share their jobs. And this girl was posting that like I really want a mining job because like I like that lifestyle. She's doing the full on duck clips and she's like 18 years old.
Right.
And she's like, I've worked in drought conditions and I've done this, that, and the other, and I was like, this person has absolutely no idea what they're getting themselves into. You know, because the thing about underground mining is that, you know, you can teach somebody how to drive the truck, you can teach somebody how to nipper, you can teach somebody how to be a driller, right? You can't fucking teach them how the mine works. So they got no fucking idea how the mine works. They're gonna fuck something up, and the foreman's gonna be like, you're out of here. You know, they're not shy about turning away people. Like, there's a high turnover of new people to go in, which is why I'm doing my research
like to romanticize
as much as I can.
People romanticize stuff a lot.
Yeah, and I think she's heavily romanticizing it, and I sort of just posted a comment on it just saying, look, do you like working in 40-degree temperatures at 12 hours a day for 14 days straight, or sometimes 7 days straight?
I gotta be honest, 40-degree temperature sounds great.
Yeah, it's really, really hot under the mines. Never mind the fact that
right. You're talking about right. That's on me. That's my bad. I forgot you were talking about Celsius.
It is Celsius.
Yeah, 40-degree Fahrenheit is. I love 40 degrees Fahrenheit.
It's 120 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah. The issue is you guys do it by Celsius, so.
Sorry, that was my bad. I wasn't paying any attention.
Well, I just really, I love 40-degree Fahrenheit. It feels great to me. I love it. One of my favorite temperatures.
I'm sure it does.
And in my mind, I'm sitting here like, oh, wait a minute. you said hot. That doesn't sound right.
Yeah. Sorry, Celsius. So about 120 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
Maybe. Hot. So not very. You know,
not cold.
You're gonna be doing. Yeah, you're gonna be down there for 12 hours at a time. For 7 days straight or 14 days straight, depending on what roster you have. Yeah. And I'm like, are you prepared to do this? You know.
Yeah, that's that full-on paving shit.
Yeah.
I'm claustrophobic. I'm not.
Oh yeah, you would hate it if you're claustrophobic. Not for you.
Certainly, I would hate it. I hate the dark.
Forget it.
I hate. My biggest fear is being underwater for too long. I fucking hate the water.
Yes, you would definitely not like underground mining at all.
Hate it. Woohoo.
Yeah.
Gives me the heebie-jeebies.
So this girl was like, that's going to be my working environment soon, I hope. So this girl is like, well, you know, I've worked in drought conditions, and it's like, you're going to be underground, it's going to be dark, and you're going to be dealing with people who won't like you, and you probably won't like them.
And it's usually going to be quite humid as well.
Very humid, yeah.
Because it's underground.
Yeah, it's underground, yeah.
Generally,
So,
not always, it's pretty damn wet.
I'm looking at this girl and I'm just thinking, my God, you know, like, what are you doing? Like, if you want the FIFO lifestyle, yeah, you can get it, but don't, for fucking hell, don't go underground mining. You can do, like, chef's work, or you can do, like, maintenance work on, like, the accommodations, you know?
I mean, you have to admire her bravery, I suppose.
Yeah, but I have a funny feeling she's going to be in for a bit of a shock, you know what I mean?
True, by that point, it's too late. You done said you wanted to do it, now you're there. They're not going to bring you up just because you decided you didn't want to do it anymore.
Yeah, that's why I posted a thing saying, like, look, here is a training course, an online sponsors training course, because there's no uni, no TAFE, nothing.
Yeah, well, it's more like it's more of a trade than anything else. So you don't really go to school for it.
Yeah, no, you can't actually go to school for it. In fact, they'll take entry-level positions, so you don't even need a trade.
Yeah.
And it's unskilled labour, apparently. So it's like, look, for the love of God, if you're going to do this, have a look at least at this training course.
Be prepared.
Yes.
You know, just go.
Yeah. Yeah, do not do that.
It's not stocking in a supermarket.
Yeah. It's not like working outdoors in drought conditions. It's very different. You know, it's dark, it's cramped, and it's really loud.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of complicated shit going on that you need to keep track of.
Yeah.
And this is why I'm super excited, because I recently applied to... We actually have the second largest uranium mine in the world in my state. And I believe it's the second largest after the one in Canada. But
Canada does have some big mines.
Yeah. And and I just applied for a job there recently as an underground truck operator. And I just said, like, during the virtual interview that they had, like, it's an automated process. I was like, explaining to them my mining knowledge and everything, and what I was planning to do with the sponsors training, like doing a training course, paid training course, and all that. And I'm really, really, really hopeful that I'll get an interview.
Right.
So.
I mean, sometimes they're not picky. Sometimes you get lucky, and so long as you say you want to do it, they'll be like, all right, fair enough, get in here.
Yeah.
And other times they are picky.
Yeah, they could be. I think the main thing they're looking for, ideally, they'd want someone with experience or who knows how the mine works. Yeah. That's really what they're looking for.
Well, I mean, they never want to train somebody. Like, you're going into a mine. Like, my uncle...
It's usually... They have... Sorry, go on.
My uncle, who's about my age...
Yeah.
He joined the Navy, and he wanted... He was dead set. He wanted to go into a submarine. A submarine is not fun. You're very cramped, you're underwater, you're not getting out, you have to piss through like a hole or whatever the fuck. It's not fun. It's not entertaining. The minute he gets into a submarine, because you don't get properly prepared for it, it's a submarine. The minute he gets in the submarine, he says, yeah, I want out. I want out of the submarine. I'm done. I'm done being in the submarine. I need out, or I'm gonna die in here. And... He handles it the worst way possible. He decides, you know, I need to do this, and he attempts suicide in the submarine. Not great. Terrible idea.
Okay.
It will get you in a lot of trouble in the military because suicide culture is pretty... Suicides are remarkably common in the military. They never want to admit that. Yeah.
Isn't that, like, treason? You know,
no, it's... Nothing like that, but it doesn't look good. Like, it looks really bad, because suicides are very common in the military. The military never wants to say this, but it's super common. There are full-on departments just for suicides. That's how common it is. Same thing in some branches for sexual assault, which is also quite common.
Yeah.
I actually don't know what happened to him. I stopped talking to him shortly before that. I just heard that from, like, a relative. So, I don't know if he stayed in the Navy or what. I would be a little surprised.
You reckon that the same thing could happen to me? Is that sort of what you're getting at?
No, I'm just making the point that that can happen to people. Like, you can't really be trained to be in a cave. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that does actually happen. That's one of the things that, like, I remember I was watching the shift boss from WA, like, who I'm learning a lot of this information from. He was telling me stories about how people are like, get me the fuck out of here, like, as soon as they go into the cave.
Well, there's nothing topside that can get you mentally prepared for what a cave is going to feel like. So a lot of people are like, hey, I want to go into a cave. Let's go. And then they do, and they're like, holy shit, I hate it in here. Save me, please. I would rather die.
It's hot, it's humid, it sucks.
It's hot, it's humid, I feel like I'm drowning. Nobody in here likes me. They keep calling me a bad word.
Their communication skills need improvement. They keep yelling at me.
Screaming. Can't understand what they're saying.
I don't know what's going on. I don't know how the mind works. That's why I'm doing.
It all looks so rickety down here. There's too much wood.
That's why I'm doing the underground like sort of training course, so that way I'll know how the mind works.
Well, that's the point I was making. That some people don't do that.
Yeah.
And they just kind of get blindsided when they get down there, and they're like, "Yeah, this fucking sucks."
Everything that you're talking about there is the exact reason why the training course exists in the first place. Like, if I had the shift boss with me, I don't know his name, Andrew, that's right. If Andrew was with me right now, he would tell you all those stories straight away.
Yeah. Well, that's what they're trying to avoid, was kind of what I was saying.
Yeah. Because the shift bosses, right, because apparently there's no official training system. So what they had to do was the shift bosses... Yeah, the shift bosses, like, there is, like, on-board training system, like, they could, but it's sink or sim training, right?
Yeah.
So, the shift bosses got together and said, what if we had a training system that was on board, like, before they even got the job?
Which is preferable, no.
Yeah, and so they did, they made it, and it's a bit pricey, but I'm going to go ahead and pay for it, and see how it goes. Yeah. Fingers crossed I do end up in a job that makes decent money.
Yeah. Enough to where you can recoup that pretty quickly.
Oh yeah, I actually came to the realization. I recently spent $600 on like the stupidest thing, right? It was it's like an animation cell. You know what those are?
Kinda.
So when they create cartoons, like in the late 90s, or in the 90s and the 80s, they
Are you talking about like the drawn storyboard part?
The what, sorry?
The drawn storyboard part?
No, that's Gengar. In Japanese, Gengar.
Okay.
No, it's actually the final cell that ends up in the cartoon. So the thing that you see on screen is like the picture of like the actual, how do I explain it? The actual frame that you see on the TV show. I don't know if I'm explaining it right. But what it is it's a clear sheet of paper with a painting on it, and that's basically what ends up in the final cartoon.
Many thanks.
So, I recently spent $600 on that, and I don't know why.
Was it a Studio Ghibli food one?
It was nowhere near that caliber, but it was by the same it was by the same studio that did Evangelion, if that's any consolation.
Okay.
But a different anime.
Yeah, I could see that going for a lot of money.
Yeah.
Prestigious name.
Yeah, Gainax. And yeah, so I spent $600 on that. I calculated if I got an underground truck driving job, I would have paid that off in 2 days.
Scouts, probably be careful.
Of work. So pretty nice.
So long as you can recoup it, I say whatever. You know, it's fun to collect stuff. Like I have stuffed animals in here. I have a picture signed by Alan Rickman before he died. I've got a little terrarium with a Snorlax in it that looks super cute. Like, so long as the money can be recouped, I say work.
Yeah, I need to. That's why I need my mining job, because I need to recruit that money.
Yeah.
Although I can recruit, I'm on a pension. Which is because Australia has very fucking good welfare, unlike America.
Yeah. America is very not welfare-y. They hate it.
Yeah. Yeah. and I'm on the pension, and it's about $1,000 a fortnight, so I could recoup it between now and then. But yeah, we shall see.
Yeah.
Fucking hell! I'm trying to complete the police chases for this blacklist at the moment on the speed, and it's not working out the way I've planned it.
Oh, you mean in your game?
Yeah.
Oh, you had lost me a little bit. I was like, hold on. I thought you were looking for a mining job. I don't think you're gonna be chasing anybody.
This whole time I'm being chased by police in the game.
Yeah, I thought you were talking about the mining part. I was like, I don't think you're gonna be chasing anybody in the mining job. I hope.
Yeah.
Like you might be, I guess, if somebody tries to steal shit. But like, I don't think so.
He's got the gold. Get him. So now, yeah, I'm in the middle of getting chased by the cops in the game, and it's not going well. I've got a modded version of the game that has like the default setting or the default heat level of the cops on this version of the game is like 5, but on this mod it goes up to 10. And I'm gonna be frank, I'm having a rough time. So
wasn't that the point?
Yeah, that was exactly the point.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's why you downloaded the mod, isn't it?
Yeah, or the mod pack, I should say.
Well, yeah.
But yeah,
you extinguish me.
yeah. So as I said, I'm just trying to think of something to talk about with regards to the to Gabbo.
Yeah. He said a lot of stuff. I don't know. I had sympathy for him at first. I really thought
pretty easy.
I could fix him, I guess.
It does get annoying after a while when you get contacted by so many incels. You know what I mean? That I just like.
Well, he was the first one I had really interacted with, to be honest. Like, incels really hadn't joined the stream before that point. I don't know. The point I kind of gave up on being sympathetic for him is when he started insulting the fact that I was fat.
Okay. Why would he insult you?
Yeah, I don't know, because I was fat when he started following me. Like it's not like I've ballooned up in all of however long it's been since he left. Like I was already big, so he started really hating fat people, you know.
Just say at least I have a girlfriend.
He according to him, it was such an anomaly that it didn't matter.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm trying to, but
So you won the lottery?
Pretty much, yeah.
Well, that's so rare. It doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, it fucking matters. I have 7.
He kept talking about how my penis didn't work. It was very confusing.
What? Your penis didn't work? Why would you have a wife if it didn't work?
Guys, there's a
I don't
spy coming. Be careful.
At first, I was really confused. I was like, when have I ever talked about not being able to have sex? It was true that like I got a vasectomy.
Yeah.
It was true that I got a vasectomy. I wasn't able to have sex while my balls were cut open because I had a hole in my testicle. Like I could not have sex when that happened. Yes, but
So is that why you don't have? Is that why you don't have kids?
yeah, we're not gonna have.
Oh.
We really don't like kids, so we've
Okay.
kind of endeavored to never have kids. And if we ever do, we'll adopt. If we really change our mind or something.
Can't a vasectomy be undone if you did want to have
Hey
kids?
guys, can you turn
Huh?
around and
Or
pirate
is-
when you spy
Can't a
ship?
vasectomy be undone even if you wanted kids?
Vasectomies can be reversed, but after
Yeah, I thought so.
about a year, the chances of them successfully reversing it go lower and lower and lower and lower. We're never gonna reverse it because, frankly, if I was gonna have surgery to have a vasectomy in the first place, I'm not about to have surgery to undo said vasectomy. That sounds insane to me.
Fucking spy.
So, you know.
There's also another option. They can. You still have sperm, obviously, so it's just that they can't get out.
Yeah, like they cut the mode of travel, the tubes.
Have you seen the Family Guy song about the vasectomy?
Yes.
Make a small incision in the scrotal skin.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he thought you couldn't have sex properly because you had a vasectomy. Is that what he's getting
Well,
at?
no, I'm pretty sure his logic that was because I was fat, I couldn't have sex, which isn't how it.
How does that
works?
work? You know, I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, when I googled it a little bit, I kind of understood what he was trying to say. Like, if you have diabetes, then yeah, it's harder to
no sex drive. Is that what he's getting at?
Well, it's harder to maintain an erection when you have diabetes, because that's how diabetes works. Especially when you do dialysis consistently. But
Okay.
I've never had diabetes.
I don't have diabetes.
I've never said I did, so it was really confusing how he just kind of came to that conclusion in the middle of nowhere.
You know what he may have been trying to get at? Maybe he's saying your wife wouldn't be aroused by you because of how you look. Maybe that he was sort of trying to get at, but he couldn't express it because of his bad English. I don't know. I'm just guessing.
Yeah, but again, she married me when I was fat. Like, I didn't just balloon up after we got married, and I was like, haha, now you're stuck with me. Like, no, I was fat when we got together.
I believe it.
Like, not as fat as I am now, granted, but still, I was still pretty big.
Has your wife ever, I'm just curious, has your wife ever explained why she didn't care?
No, she just doesn't care. She thinks I'm attractive. I don't understand it at all, but...
You wanna know what the worst thing was that ever happened to me? I think ever? Like, it was just horrible to me. This really ruined my self-esteem, right? I had an OnlyFans girl hit me up on Tinder, right?
Sure.
And I know you're saying, oh yeah, it's Tinder, right? But here's the thing, right?
It is
She
Tinder.
didn't tell me, she didn't tell me she was an OnlyFans girl, so she spent about an hour and a half pretending to be interested in me. And
So that you buy it?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I said to her, wow, I can't believe that you're interested in me. She said, oh, just accept it, darling. And I was like, oh, this is great. This beautiful woman is interested in me. And then eventually she reveals her OnlyFans and you donate a huge amount. It's like, oh my God, you know.
Yeah.
I'm so ugly that a prostitute just hit me up and tried to, you know.
Well,
That's how I
no,
felt.
OF girls nowadays will do that to everybody because, like, it's only the top, I think, about 92% of women on that
It
site.
was really weird though. She wanted to know what I looked like. So she asked me to send her pictures and everything.
Maybe it's an arousal thing? Getting attractive guys aroused to her or something?
Okay.
I can't think of any other reason, unless it was all a part of the lie. You know, to pretend to be super into you.
Yeah, but as soon as she said to me, oh, yeah, can you donate to my OnlyFans? I was like, no, bye.
She say donate?
Yeah, like, I didn't say donate. I can't remember her exact word. It was like, here's my OnlyFans. Could you play this, that, and the other? She started saying my name.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever it is. You know, I don't fucking know OnlyFans. I'm
Yeah.
not retarded. No, I'm not rubbish.
Yeah. For a second, I thought, because if she used the word donate, that's fucking weird.
She may have used the word donate. I do not remember, but
Like,
I've heard ethos use that term before.
That just seems wild to me. Because if someone gives me money, it's essentially a donation. It's a tip. Because I'm streaming. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To subscribe to something because you want something out of it, that's not a donation. You're just paying for something.
It was like $5, and of
Yeah.
course I was like, no. But that made me feel like that made me feel absolutely horrible because it made me feel, well, that's how unattractive I am.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
I mean, it's just Tinder. That's how Tinder boils down. Tinder, Plenty of Fish, those sites tend to get used for hookups more than anything else. So that's the culture that has grown around that is primarily attractiveness rules.
yeah, it does make you realize the question is like, how many Western girls are actually on online dating apps? And given your wife, there may be a sizable portion that are not and do not care.
Well, most of the women that go on there, especially Tinder is primarily used for sex. Like that's Tinder's purpose. You know? That's why it exists now. It used to be a dating app, obviously. But now it really is just sex. That's what people use it for. You take them home, you bang, you never see each other again.
You're Charlie Sheen.
Yeah, you gotta go with really good dating sites like Farmers Only, and that's really the only one I can think of.
Farmers Only. I assume that's how you met your wife? Or no, you met her in high school.
No, I met her in high school.
Yeah.
We had the same lunch period, and we had a mutual friend. So I had the mutual friend put the poems I wrote for her in her band cubby because she was in band.
Yes, I remember the band cubby story.
Yeah.
I remember when I was in high school or primary school, whenever I was attracted to girls, I just freaked them out. I remember at one point I knew this one girl that I liked, because she was an early bloomer, if you know what I mean.
Sure.
So and of course I was starting to get, you know, that period where I was attracted to girls. And I got a friend of mine to ask her to be my girlfriend. And I think I was 9 or 10 at the time, maybe. And she got up and sat next to me and in a class at one random point and wouldn't stop telling me to be quiet. And our relationship, after that we hated each other. Like from that moment onwards, she was constantly telling me to be quiet all the time in all class, and all the girls were doing it, and I got fucking pissed with her.
Well, to be honest, whenever you have a friend,
but we never actually had a relationship or anything like that. Though it was just brief.
Well, to be honest, whenever you tell a friend to tell another friend, hey, tell them I'm attracted to her, that tends to never go over well because it seems kind of cowardly, and I get it, so it never goes over. I've never seen that one work. But in my case,
I was 9.
In my case, well, obviously you were super young, but you know, like in my case, it's just a little different, just on the basis of, you know, I'm putting it in her cubby anyway, anonymously, and I don't know, it seemed to go over well somehow.
What did she think?
What?
What did she think?
She seemed to like it. It's been a while since we talked about it, but she liked the poems. I wrote her a couple more when we actually got together later.
And had nobody asked her out before that? She had one boyfriend, didn't she?
Yeah, she had a boyfriend before.
And how did he ask her out? Why did she
I have
not
no idea. I never asked, to be honest. That was kind of before me, so my general logic is, you know, I put a wall.
Don't stop.
Actually, I will be right back real fast.
Alright.
I shouldn't be just a minute, but I'll put up some music on the stream and everything, and I'll be right back. Music. Oh. Oh no, the music's still going. Alright.
Oh, you're back.
I am. Oh. Whole bunch of dialogue's been happening while I've been gone.
Well, in the chat.
Yeah, in the Discord.
What have they been saying?
How much have I missed? We got the Twitter official Mario movie teaser. Exciting.
Ah, fuck that. They're just trying to piggyback off the success of the Sonic movie.
I mean, it actually doesn't look halfway terrible. Well, granted,
I'm not saying it's
just a trailer picture.
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying it's bad, but we all know it's because of Sonic that they decided to do it.
So it's primarily been memes. Wild.
What has primarily been memes?
Just in the town.
Oh yeah.
Responding to Ryuk there. Ryuk's my only mod in the server, so I'm glad he's let me know. Anyway, all right.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind having a death god as my mod either.
All right. Webcam's back.
Did you not get that? King?
No, I did. I know what it's from. SMH, Kaneko, you're not even going to join me playing TF2? You're in the game? Kaneko, how dare you?
Oh, excellent. All the fucking colors are locked.
Kaneko's joined the party. Now you're doomed. You can't escape now. I'd invite the Milker too, but I don't think I know who that is.
Ah, yes, the Milker.
Yeah, the Milker, famous for milking.
Everything.
Kaneko, what?
He's well known.
Oh, Kaneko, you're a that's a Sword and Shield Pokemon. Interesting. Which one is that one?
Right,
I'm always a
have gone
Snorlax because Snorlax is the best.
I like how this whole conversation I went from Blacklist number 3 to 1 in Need for Speed. Like I've nearly finished the game already.
Yeah.
The whole time I did that while talking to you.
Well, it has been 2.5 hours.
Yeah. No offense, but I'm a god at this game.
Where did Kaneko? Did I accidentally kill? Oh, there we go. I'm just talking about the. I have a stream avatars extension for the stream. Kaneko is whatever Pokemon this is. I can't actually remember. Kaneko.
I don't know why I'm doing every event because I'm wasting so much money on cars.
You have no choice. I am God in the stream avatar's world. I'm trying to check which Pokemon you are. I generally can't remember. Hold on. You have to be on this list. What the hell? This one. Yeah, there we go. Oh, a Barbaracle. Yeah, you're a Barbaracle.
But did you ban him, like... Sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just asking, like, did you ban him, like, the moment he started insulting you, or what was the story?
Oh, no, I was really lenient. I'm really lenient with people I get along with people who I consider friendly. I gave him a lot of I gave him more chances than he deserved. But it took him a while before I was like, all right, so you're gonna get banned because you're being a shit, you know. Kaneko, what Pokemon do you want to be, by the way? I can switch your person for you, since I don't figure you want to be a Barbaracle. Also, you can join the call too, Kaneko. Nerd.
You shouldn't do it because I'm in here and I'm horrible.
Kaneko doesn't talk much anyway, whenever she's in the call. So,
yeah.
I'll be whatever. Oh, you don't want to be anything in particular? Because I could make you like an Eevee or something.
Make her a Magikarp.
Espeon.
Oh my god, I've been fucking driving these hypercars so much, the BMW feels so damn slow.
You've been Magikarped.
Why is the BMW not faster?
Essentially, everybody who talks in the stream gets given an avatar. In the case of Kaneko, Magikarp. In my case, I am Snorlax because I'm always Snorlax. Bloopme is a piece of corn. I do not know why.
What would be the equivalent of like the Pokemon Heavy Metal avatar for me?
Heavy Metal Pokemon. What's its name? Holy crap, I can't remember its name. Toxtricity, I think?
Toxtricity. Is that
Yeah,
what it's called?
Toxtricity. If you've ever seen him before. He was from Sword and Shield, I think.
I'm about to.
Yeah. He's very heavy metal. At least I think that's his name. Toxicity. He's a poison electric type, I think.
Yeah, I can tell by his name. Toxtricity.
Yeah.
Oh yes, the Mohawk.
Yeah. Mohawk, he's got it all.
That's probably more punk, but yeah, I think so.
Well, granted, Sword and Shield did have a lot of punk in it. I can't really think of a particularly heavy metal Pokemon that isn't literally made of metal.
That's the closest you can. That's the closest you could get.
Yeah. Well, he has the two versions too, the yellow and the blue, and the yellow one is physically strumming a guitar, I'm pretty sure, so.
Yeah. This car I'm driving is like the fucking prize car you win at the end of the game, and I've had like these modded hypercars in the game for so long that it feels so fucking slow now that I've unlocked it.
Ah, died of fall damage. Get right.
Doc, come on, man. Thanks, Pally.
What was the last thing he said that like made you go, alright, that's enough, you're gone?
Well, actually, at the time he was talking to Token. And at this point, he had actually blocked me, I think. Which, one of my rules is you can't block mods anyway, so he was already... And I consider myself a mod, given that I'm the owner. But, so he was already kind of skirting the rules. And, I don't know, he made the fat comments, the, PP not work thing, you know? And I was just like, I mean, if he hates me that much, he doesn't get to be in the server.
Yeah.
Heck, that's not even like the other guy. I've only had to ban 2 people in my life from the server.
I'm just trying to work out why he thinks your dick doesn't work.
I don't know. But I've only had to ban 2
Forever
people.
mystery.
And the first person that I had to ban from the server, I had to ban because he thought I was Hitler.
What?
I do mean that literally, by the way. He said that this server was like Nazi Germany or North Korea, and I was like Kim Jong-un or I was Hitler.
Yeah, that's a fair comparison to make.
Yeah. And this was all... The entire reason he said that was because he got punished for breaking the rules. I punished him for breaking the rules.
What rules did he break?
I actually can't remember the specific one, but I'm pretty sure it was mod disrespect, because he kept insulting the mods I had at the time. At the time, I had Murray and Luigi as mods, I believe.
60 seconds.
And he really insulted them all the time. He called Luigi a yes man, and that offended Luigi. He called... I don't remember what he said about Murray. He might not have said anything about Murray if I don't remember it, but I don't know. He was being really rude. He was being a little shit. I'm gonna block you now. No, you won't, Kaneko. You've never blocked anyone. Let's be honest. We all know it.
Kaneko has every reason to block you now. He's
But
just heard
she
you
can't.
talking.
I just made her a magic
I
card.
remember when I almost got banned from like a fucking server that was run by this Japanese guy who didn't like people who like learnt Japanese as was a fictional language spoken like Klingon, and never actually used it to talk to Japanese people. And I joined his server and he was like, "Oh yeah, yeah." So and everyone was being like so fucking toxic. Like one guy had actually went out of his way to like I was joking about like how we were all virgins or something. And
Sure.
or, like I'm using these weapons to protect my virginity or something like that.
Sure.
And he went to my Twitter and grabbed a photo of me and posted it in the server and was like, "Don't worry, mate, your virginity has been protected."
Yeah, that is
And I'm
very
like-
toxic.
Like that is.
I mean, some
that's
people just
quite a
get
lot of-
really offended when you want to learn a language for, in their opinion, the wrong reason. They just don't like it.
Well, it's it's so I can communicate with Japanese people because most of them don't speak English, and that includes all Japanese people, not just women.
Yeah, but they probably assumed it was for like a different reason, and they were like, you know what? That's not the right reason. Fuck you.
Oh, no, I was fucking around saying that, like, I can't remember what it was, but, like, the guy had made a YouTube video saying, oh, like, you know, he hated, like, Matt versus Japan. I agree with him. I don't like Matt versus Japan either because he's an egomaniac.
Sure.
Who
I don't
thinks
know
he's
who
got the
that
greatest
is, but
fucking
sure.
Japanese. Like, he's a Japanese YouTuber who thinks he's got the best Japanese of all time and thinks the Japanese is the fucking hardest language to learn. That requires 6 fucking PhDs in astrophysics and fucking a postdoctorate fellow fucking, you know, like he really thinks his shit doesn't stink, you know? And
I'm pretty sure the like widely thought most difficult language to learn is English.
well, it's complicated, so it depends on how far, like how closely related English is to another language to determine its difficulty. So
Yeah, sure.
somebody who's German has an easy time learning English and vice versa. But somebody who's Japanese has a hard time learning English and vice versa.
Makes sense. I mean, the only
So
language
just-
I learned was a little bit of French.
French is fucking hard, honestly.
It is pretty difficult.
Yeah. Especially
Piss.
the pronunciation, it's ridiculous.
Piss sniper, let's go.
So, this Matt versus Japan guy was like abusing DMCA on YouTube with people who were like saying mean things about him,
Of course he is.
or like criticizing. So like if somebody said like his program was a scam, he would like he's got video of him. There's video of him saying, "Look, I'm really good at making people think I'm better at Japanese than I actually am." Like him saying that word for word.
Okay.
Like I've seen it. Like that's exactly what he said, word for word. And the funny thing is, he's got videos on his YouTube channel of him like talking to Japanese people, and like flexing his Japanese onto native speakers, like for the sole purpose of saying, "Look at how great my Japanese is." And he yeah, like I said, he's an egomaniac. So like his lessons are like, here is why like my Japanese is the best and why you should not learn from anyone else, not even native speakers.
Here's
like he
why
openly
you
criticizes.
should suck my dick.
Yeah, he literally openly criticizes, right, native Japanese speakers and said why you shouldn't trust them.
Well, I mean, granted, to
And
an
like-
extent, like I'm a native English speaker, you know, but I'm far from like perfect at English or anything. I make mistakes all the time. It happens.
Yeah, but like, you know, the thing is, right, it depends on the mistake. Like, if you mean like
Yeah.
saying, like if it's a mistake that you make and then you correct it, that's different. But like, he's talking about like he's probably talking about something entirely different, like, you know, the misspelling of the word "your." Unfortunately, as more and more people use the misspelling, it kind of becomes the official spelling. It's kind of
True.
weird how languages evolve.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's why we have so many fucking silent letters in the English language, because a bunch of people sat down and fucked with the language once.
I mean, it wasn't uncommon for, especially in English, because English was a relatively new language not too long ago, to just kind of make up words. And to be fair, it was a good thing. Like, the word bedroom, completely made up.
Ends in 10 seconds.
Shakespeare made it up. And he was like, you know what? Room, bed, bedroom. Good for him.
What was I going to say? So, I was watching a video by a guy, and I said I was criticising people who, like Matt versus Japan, because the problem with Matt is that he, like, learns Japanese, but he doesn't use it to talk to native English speakers, so he's
Yeah.
native Japanese speakers, I'm sorry. He just stays inside of his room all fucking day. And he went to Japan, like, he went on an exchange trip to Japan, and his host parents were like, why on earth did you come to Japan if you don't even want to fucking engage with us, with your Japanese, and stay in your room all day? Basically, and that's a fair point.
Yeah, I'm genuinely amazed he didn't get kicked out.
Yeah.
You can't be rude to the people who are hosting you. That's an incredible taboo in Japan. You cannot do that. I'm amazed he didn't get his
Yeah.
ass kicked out. He probably deserved it.
Yeah, so he's very, like, secluded, and the only reason he learned it was because he wanted to watch anime without subtitles. So he's a massive weeb.
Good lord.
I'm not making this shit up. I'm not making it up.
That's wild.
So,
For that to
he's
be
a
your
fucking
reason,
lunatic.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Speaking of,
And
after this
exactly.
match is over, I'll be getting...
Prepare to
Alright.
compete in 6
My
Well,
wife's on the way home,
and-
so it's about time to end stream. And
Yeah. And I criticised him on the guy who made a video criticising Matt versus Japan for that. And some guy on the server was like, oh, how dare you? I'm like, no, you don't understand. Learning Japanese so you can watch anime without subtitles is retarded. Is rubbish.
It's a wild
Like-
reason.
Like, it is, yeah, and, so, I joined this other dude's Discord server who criticised people who do that, and
Sure.
his server was so fucking toxic, like, it was, and somebody was being toxic towards me, and so, like, and then the guy who owned the server who did the video came in and wanted to talk about MMA fighting, and he told me to stop being toxic. So I added the most toxic person in the server, and I said, you hear that, mate? You need to stop being toxic. And I got muted. And
Okay, guys.
I literally just said, you just do that to me again, I'm just going to leave the server. And some guy just posted,
and then the
like,
test.
sarcastic, no, don't
In life,
leave.
They give you the test and then
Like,
the
you know.
lesson.
And I have to mute
And,
somebody in the server. Silence, pirate.
yeah. Did you have to mute somebody?
Yeah, in the game I'm in.
Oh, yeah. So,
Because they wouldn't
yeah,
stop talking, so I could barely hear you.
yeah. Did you hear what I was saying?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was on board.
So
I was
it was
following
that-
the story.
It was at that point that I came to the conclusion that the Japanophile community online is the most toxic, fucked up fucking community that I don't want anything to do with. Full of idiots and that sort of thing. And there's another guy, whenever you get the chance, I'm not even going to tell you the story about this guy, but look up, like, Elvis the Alien, the Asian Onision,
10 seconds.
Oh,
right? That
I
guy
know.
is-
I know of. I think I've watched that video because I know Elvis. I know I've watched his
hiding in my
videos.
room. Yeah, hiding in my
Asian
room.
and these... Oh, I know who that is. I did watch that video.
Oh my fucking god. That guy is off the rails.
Well, to be fair, anybody called any kind of Onision is a little off the rails.
Yeah. Well, to be honest with you, anybody involved in the Japanophile community, except, well, probably including me, is a little bit crazy.
Hmm.
I don't know if you think I'm crazy, but...
I don't know I don't know you well enough to say whether you're crazy or not. But I won't give a judgment yet.
I don't know, what counts as crazy in your eyes?
Generally... I generally draw a line. You have to be pretty weird for me to full on call you crazy.
Oh, there's things I don't talk about for reasons. But, you know, like, there's certain things that I will not say, which may make me look crazy, but, you know, I don't say them for a reason.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, everybody has little things like that, I think.
Yeah. I'm sure you do too.
I'm sure everybody does.
Yeah. But yeah, so fuck Matt versus Japan, and hopefully he doesn't DMCA the stream.
I mean, I doubt he will.
If he even finds it.
Yeah, I doubt he'll find it. It's not like I'm gonna tag him in it and be like, "Hey, come on, Matt, come on, bring it on."
Hey Matt, yo Matt, this guy's
what are you
talking shit about
scared?
you. Listen to what this fucking guy said about you.
Not even the
said that you
streamer,
wanted
it's just
fucking-
someone the streamer was talking to. Find him.
He called you a weeb.
What is his IP?
The enemy has received additional
He called you a weeb.
Find it. It's time to take him out.
Shit.
I just
like,
want the
okay.
sentry. I'm okay with it if I get the sentry.
You know, like that's where I got like the joke from, that like people think that Japanese is like Klingon.
Yeah.
In the sense that it's like a fictional language, because they see it spoken on anime. They don't actually realize it's a real language spoken by real people.
Right.
It's like, it's not Klingon, guys. Like, it's actually, like, you can actually, like, Japan is a real place, so you can actually go there and you can see people.
Well, granted, the way they speak it in anime can be a little, I'll use the words anime stylized. If that makes sense.
There are actually plenty of things in anime that accurately reflect the real life Japan. Not, you know, like,
yeah, not all of it.
You know,
magical swords.
yeah, obviously. Yeah, no, probably not that. And whole harems and shit. But like stuff like certain inflections that characters might have in how they speak. So like some of them might go, eh, stuff like that. Like Japanese people really do that. And it's like, it's the most like amazing thing. Like certain things that Japanese people do, you see them and like you know for a fact if you've watched enough anime, you've seen an anime character do it before.
Still streaming.
If that makes sense.
I'll be done soon though. You can close the door if you want. You have a good day? Okay. Love you. Sorry,
Yeah,
shit,
so,
I was just saying hi.
Yeah. No, that's good. You need happy wife, happy life.
Yeah, don't want to just ignore.
Yeah. What was I saying?
You were talking about Japanese inflections.
Yes, that's right. So they like certain Japanese people I meet, like even my teacher, they do certain inflections that you've seen on an anime before.
Yeah.
And it's the cutest thing. Like, I'm just being real. Like when they do it, guys and girls.
Yeah.
Like when you
Yeah,
notice
it's
it,
just
like,
it's just stuff they do.
Yeah.
Which,
It's like
granted,
how in
not
The
all of it,
Simpsons-
but you know.
It's like how in The Simpsons you have fucking like Homer Simpson fucking, what is it? Like,
Do his
let's say
dough.
Homer Simpson. Yeah, I think some Americans do that. Ah!
Well, I'm sure there's at least one.
There's little inflections that, like, you know, The Simpsons do that I'm sure a lot of Americans do.
I mean, like,
etc.
for example, down in the south from where we're from, one of the curses, if you like do something wrong or something, you don't say dough, but you say oh foot.
Oh foot.
Yeah, oh foot.
Got it.
It's stuff like that. Stuff like that exists.
We have like if you ever watch the TV show, like the Australian TV show Houseos,
Okay.
it's obviously like it's an Australian TV show. It's really, really funny. I think you'll love it.
Sure.
It's about like lower class Australians like living on the pension, like on the public dole,
Right.
and they don't have jobs, and like they're criminals, and like, you know, they're so poor that like they can't afford a birthday cake, so they just burn a car instead. That sort of
Sure.
thing. And like a lot of it's like highly exaggerated, but like some of it, like some of the stuff that's in it is accurate.
Well, yeah, like of course it's exaggerated, but like, I mean, like there was that show about Honey Boo Boo.
We have a
That's who
local
it
metal.
was.
We have a local metal band here that sort of talks a lot like the characters from Houseos, but
Yeah.
they're like obviously just putting on a show.
Well, of course. Gives you something to be known for.
Anyway.
Though.
Yeah. Anyway, go on. Honey Boo Boo?
Well, Honey Boo Boo isn't like completely inaccurate. Like some stuff about Honey Boo Boo is completely right. Obviously exaggerated, but some of the accents are right. Some of the things they say are right. Granted, the fact that she drinks something called her go-go juice, and it's like this energy drink shit. Generally, parents don't give that to their kids, but it does happen. She was like, what, 6? I can't remember.
It's like, obviously, you know, there are people out there who think, like, I'm sure there are people out there who think Japan is exactly like what it is in anime, and I'm sad to inform them that it's not. That it's almost definitely not.
Poor otakus.
Yeah.
I say poor, like they didn't actively choose to act that way.
Attention.
Like, people get angry at love and say, oh, you know, I hate the fact that they romanticize Japan as a perfect utopia, and I'm like, well, it's, you know, I mean, it's not a utopia, but it's actually a really safe country, and there are actually good things about Japan that are worth talking about.
Yeah. I mean,
it's
it's different, but
like, it's not,
like
it's not
I'm
perfect,
hesitant
it's
to
not
use the
totally
word.
fucking...
I'm hesitant to use the word better, but it is different. You know.
It's not perfect, but like it's, you know, it's not a fucking shithole.
Yeah. Well, obviously,
But the
Japan, just like everywhere else, like there's slums in Japan. You know, there are some parts of Japan that suck. I'm sure. I've never lived there, but you know.
It's like me in Australia. Like I happen to live in an area that is slow, that is not very good. But if you compare this to a third world nation, it's way better.
Right.
But still, you know, the stabbings that happen every now and again, it's not very nice.
Yeah. The shootings in Japan, stuff like that. Not in Japan,
Yes.
sorry. In America.
Yes, the shootings in America definitely.
Shootings do happen in
good,
Japan.
you know.
After all, the gang activity
Shinzo
is
Abe.
the most common crime in Japan right now. I'm pretty sure. So
Shinzo Abe.
yeah. So it happens.
Assassination.
So it certainly happens.
It is
you know,
apparent.
but
It is apparently extremely rare, though.
oh yeah, it's
Really?
it's rare, but I'm pretty sure the last I checked, the most common crime in Japan is gang activity, if I remember correctly. Granted, it's been a while. I don't look up other countries' crime rates very often.
Yeah, and Japan obviously is not a perfect place, and anyone out there saying that it is wrong.
Yeah, nowhere is perfect. The perfect places just don't exist.
I just think that a lot of people spend way too much time getting so hung up about the fact that some people think Japan is perfect. It's like, look, I'll tell you one thing. The people who are complaining about the fact that certain people out there like Japan are almost certainly not the Japanese themselves. Like, you'll never hear a Japanese
most
person...
Japanese people are pretty chill about it. Granted,
Well,
I don't think they like otakus any more than anybody else does. But like,
No, obviously not. They even make fun
Yeah.
of otakus, but like, they a lot of Japanese people, like, they absolutely love it. Like, I remember, I've met plenty of Japanese people, and if you know like one anime, their mind is genuinely blown, because they don't know much about what happens outside of Japan. A lot of them have no idea that Pokemon is as popular as it is.
of course.
Like, they have no idea that, for example, you and I were just talking about Pokemon about 15 minutes ago.
Pokemon's pretty awesome.
Yeah, they have no idea that you and I even know about it. And I remember I was telling this Japanese friend of mine who was in Australia for a brief period of time, that we used to play Yu-Gi-Oh! In high school, and he could not comprehend it. Like, I genuinely tried explaining to him how popular it was, he just couldn't wrap his head around it, no matter how many times I explained it to him.
Yeah, I had friends of mine who played Yu-Gi-Oh. I didn't like Yu-Gi-Oh. I thought it was cringe, but I do know.
I played a little bit. Yeah, I played a little bit. Exactly. So you know people who like it, you know.
Actually, I used to own Yu-Gi-Oh cards. No,
yeah,
wait, I still do. They're in the other room. I have not any rare ones or anything, but my favorite one was the Marshmallow.
I used to own Blue Eyes Stardust Metal Dragon.
No, the best one's the little marshmallow character. The one where if you turn it sideways, hidden or whatever the fuck, and if they attack it, it reflects all the damage done to it back. It's been a while since I played.
I was saying, like, Japanese people really love it when you get involved in their culture. It doesn't matter whether it's otaku or whatever. I mean, obviously it's otaku, they're gonna fucking judge you a little bit.
Otaku, you're gonna get made fun of. Deservedly so.
As you would in any other country, right?
Yeah. There are American otakus, by the way. People who are otakus for American culture.
Yes, we call them weeps.
No, I'm saying they're otakus for American culture, not for Japanese in America.
Yes, yeah. You're right. Yeah. And that's an interesting thing, by the way. I forgot what I was saying. Shit. How long is you ending the stream, by the way?
Pretty soon. As soon as this game ends, I think, because my wife's home now.
Yeah. Gotta spend time with your wife, man. I don't know if I was you, if I had a wife, I'd be so happy that she just got home.
Because, well, sometimes the stream runs over a little bit, so I'll still stream when she first gets home, just so I can finish up what I'm doing. And she doesn't.
Yeah, well, obviously, if she minded a shitload, you probably wouldn't have married her.
Well, I mean, if she minded that I was still streaming when she got home, I'd just end up streaming. Because she doesn't mind so long as I do it when she's gone, at the very least, so I'm chilling.
Yeah. I just completely forgot about the whole Japanophile shit.
Oh, it's round 2. I gotta keep going, I guess. Game's
I mean, it's not a perfect country, obviously.
Yeah. I mean, there's no such thing as a perfect country. It's worse in some ways, better in others. Because, like, I do remember watching a video not too long ago about the smallest apartment that you can get in Tokyo. And it's this tiny thing, really small. The light switch for the room is outside of the room, so somebody else controls your light. In fairness, though, that's probably going to change as Japan's population rapidly declines, which it is currently doing. No, it's this tiny little thing. No bathroom in the building. The only people that get bathrooms are the 2 suites at the top.
Yeah.
You have to walk down the street to a laundromat for a bathroom.
Yeah, that's because Japan's population is huge. You know, it's like 125 million people.
Well, this was in Tokyo, smack dab in the middle.
Yeah, it's a very, very cramped city. There's more people living in Tokyo than there is living in Australia, just to give you a context.
The density is a little much.
Yeah, but that's going to change as Japan's population declines.
Of course.
So I suspect that more space is going to open up as time goes on.
Granted, I might imagine that the decline won't last very long.
It's kind of fucking morbid when you think about it, if it does go that way. You reckon the decline won't last that long?
No, declines never last long. They have whole, they always put forward these 600 different programs where they're like, yeah, have kids really fast, please. We need more people. Because people get really scared and they tend to panic when they hear that the population's going down.
Yeah, I see your point there, but this may sound you, but I do actually kind of hope you're right, because I like Japan. So, you know, I'd like to see it continue in the future.
Well, it's still going to continue. I'm just, the population doesn't need to be as high as this.
Fair enough.
Same in America, you know. I'd be happy if the population would decrease, like, just a smidge. Like, just a little bit. Like, empty out some denser cities, you know, like Jacksonville, Orlando.
I think you'd love to come to Australia just because of our incredibly low population.
Yeah, well, I really like small town rural areas. That's just where I'm from. When we wanted to have fun, we went to the local diner, we went to Walmart,
There is
we walked
almost
around.
certainly there is almost certainly no shortage of those sorts of areas here in Australia. I'll tell you one
Love
thing.
those areas.
As soon as you go outside of the major cities, like, you know, it's rural town, rural town,
Love
rural
that.
town for
Love
miles. Miles and miles and miles.
Very,
Not even
very
kidding.
excited to go back to that one day.
Like, this is so unfair. How the fuck... Okay. I hate the fact that in this game, there are so many cop cars swarming me that I can get stuck on top of them
Eh.
and just sit there and then get busted.
Well, to be fair, it is a mod thing. So it's not like the game was intended to handle quite so much.
No, this is the default settings. There's
Okay.
nothing's modded about it. Yeah, it's a hard game on by default. Yeah, so, like, for example, where I want to work, I won't say exactly where, but, like, it's got a small mining town.
So say
attached to it.
don't dox yourself.
Yeah.
Be like, oh, my
It's got a
IP
small-
is.
It's got a small little mining town attached to it, and it's that sort of rural town. It's in the middle of the desert, so I'd say like Phoenix, Arizona sort of thing. Way smaller though, way
I was
smaller.
about to say Phoenix is pretty big. I was about to say Phoenix is not rural at all. So I hate to
Yeah,
break
but,
that
like,
to you.
Yeah, I know that Phoenix is big, but like it's like what my comparison is like. It's in the fact that it's in the middle of the desert. Is what I sort of mean.
Ah, I see.
Yeah, but it's really tiny.
Granted, Australia's a little too warm for me.
Oh, it does get cold here. Trust me.
Oh
I've
no,
had
I
to
know,
run a
I know
heater.
it gets cold, but it gets too warm when it gets warm. Like where we are in England right now, air conditioning doesn't exist, and that sucks. And that's a travesty against nature.
Yes, yes, you do raise a point where that Australia during the summer here it gets
Yeah.
fucking hot.
Yeah. Big ass wasps, big ass spiders.
That I wouldn't be so worried about, to be honest with you. But the temperature, yeah. Because what happens during the summer is it's really interesting. I've been observing it the past few summers. Is the temperature will go through like heat, like it goes in waves. So it'll go in waves of like 120 degree heat, and then it will drop back down to like comfortable temperatures, and then it will go back up again.
Okay, what do you mean by comfortable temperatures?
Like 23 degrees Celsius or whatever that is in Fahrenheit, like 80.
No,
Where are you most
32 is 80.
32 is 80.
No, wait, 32 is 90. Maybe it's not? I can't fucking remember.
Yeah, I don't fucking know. It comfortable temperatures, whatever that is.
Sure.
So
To me,
like 23
70
degrees.
is still a little warm. 70 Fahrenheit, which I
Yeah.
think is,
Yeah, but
Pretty
when
sure
it gets
32 is 80.
when it gets to winter here, it gets fucking freezing as well.
Got that bitch.
So like I had to, like for example today, it was like I was pushing trolleys around shopping carts,
nah.
where I work.
Well, we
And-
call them buggies.
Buggies.
Yeah,
That's
buggies.
I've never heard an American call shopping carts buggies.
That's a southern thing, I think, because when we got here too, even the Americans on base that like we, actually worked with and stuff, like we were like, yeah, they're buggies, and they were like, huh?
Yeah, we call them trolleys. I don't know why. And probably because we still have a lot of British heritage in us.
I mean, I kind of get why, because the trolleys with because we call the like 3-layered candy trolley stuff like that. We call those trolleys.
Why is the cart not
Yeah.
moving?
And it like today, for example, it was windy and it was raining and we're still in spring, and like I had to wear a jumper the whole time. It was so fucking cold. And I've had to run a heater for the past like 4 or 5 months.
Well, see, here in England, it's started fall, I think.
Oh my god.
And people are telling me it's
Yeah.
really cold, and I've heard heaters running in other people's houses, and
heard
it
heaters
feels
what?
great to me, huh?
You've heard heaters what? Sorry.
Running in other people's houses. Most of the heaters around here are oil or gas, so generally I can hear them going whenever they're on.
Like Australia's like heating and like cooling system is built very different from the UK's. We have a bunch of air cons, obviously, because it gets really hot.
Good.
But we don't have a bunch of like heaters.
Air conditioning does not exist here.
Yeah, exactly. That's my point. It's like the opposite of England. So we have a bunch of air cons, but heating does not exist.
I have to buy a stupid portable unit in order to get cool.
Yeah, it's the opposite for me. I have to buy a portable unit to get hot.
Well, see, that's fine though. You can get like one of those little portable fans, you know.
Yeah, I've got one.
The portable air conditioners are fucking massive.
In fact, it's starting to get cold in my room, so I might turn my little portable thing on right now. And it's on. The other thing as well you may find interesting, because we're in the southern hemisphere, it's really weird. So our seasons are inverted.
Right.
So when you have winter, like in Christmas, it's summer here. And when and also the moon is upside down.
Oh yeah.
I'm not joking.
I actually when you first joined, I checked out your Twitter and I saw that.
Oh, you checked out my Twitter, thanks.
Yeah, because I had to check you out to make sure you weren't one of the incels.
Yeah, well, hopefully it was easy to tell.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah, you may think I'm joking when I say the moon is upside down. I'm genuinely not.
No, I saw the post about the upside down moon.
Yeah, it's a real thing. So if you come here, you can actually look at the moon and it's upside down. See, like, I've seen the moon my whole life, and, like, I thought that's just how the moon was. And whenever I saw it in American TV shows, I thought it was weird. I was like, why does the moon look like that? And I've only recently, like, I only probably discovered, like, when I was maybe 15, like, oh, our moon is the fucking wrong way up. That's why. You know, it's crazy.
To be honest, around here, I don't see the moon or the stars as much as I'm used to. I used to see them from where I was in America. It just seemed like they were a lot more. I don't know the wording I want to use.
I believe the term is light pollution. It kind of blocks out because all the light from the city sort of like blocks out a lot of the light from the stars.
Well, no, because we don't live in a city. We live in a retirement village, kind of just like we lived in before we left.
Yeah.
So
see, I think
it's kind of the same. I just think it's like the British overcast thing, because
that could be it too.
yeah, it tends to be a good bit more overcast here. Anyway,
the
game is ended. It's time for me to hop off.
I just hit a spike strip.
It's time for me to hop off and spend time with my wife now.
And I want to watch this person play RimWorld.
All right. Peace out,
it was good talking to you.
Yeah.
See you later.
Peace. And now to you guys. Thanks everybody who watched for watching. I appreciate you coming by again, Kaneko. Hope to see you again next time. Tomorrow when I play not TF2. I don't know what I'm going to play. Probably like Far Cry 6 or something. That's what I was considering today, but we'll see. Peace.